Chapter 1799. Obliterated. 2. Help! Cheng Xian shouted as she ran. Even if she were to die, she would drag someone down with her. She would not let that damned woman live well. The crowd looked in the direction she ran and suddenly understood. They looked at her with even more disdain. Shui, be careful! The demon warned loudly. At this moment, he was entangled by a tentacle and could not save Leng Ruoxue in time. As for Master Ning and the others, they were too far away to do anything. When Leng Ruoxue heard his reminder, she gave him a comforting look and stood on the spot, not having any intention of running away. In just a few seconds, Cheng Xian and the tentacle were within reach. Cheng Xian looked at the unmoving Leng Ruoxue, and a sense of pride flashed in her heart. Are you scared, silly? If I die, don't even think about running away. As she thought of this, she approached Leng Ruoxue even faster. However, when she was only a meter away from Leng Ruoxue suddenly disappeared. Immediately, Cheng Xian was dumbfounded. Where was he? Where did that damn woman go? Cheng Xian was stunned. Just as she was lost in her thoughts, the tentacle that was chasing her wrapped around her waist and rolled her into the air. The suction cups on the head of the tentacle pierced into her body, and in an instant, Cheng Xian lost her life. She didn't even have time to cry for help. When everyone saw this scene, no one sympathized with her, let alone save her. Moreover, they could not save her. This is retribution, isn't it? Feng Daliang said. That's right. People with evil intentions will die faster than others. Lin Yuan agreed. The two of them echoed each other's words and added insult to injury, making some people gnash their teeth in anger. Unfortunately, no one dared to refute these words. Otherwise, wouldn't it be true that they had evil intentions? Disdainfully throwing the sucked dry Cheng Xian to the side, the blood cherry blossom's tentacle once again stared at Feng De and Lin Yuan. These two were the two food it had its eyes on the first time, and it was about to taste them. Ah! Suddenly, a sharp cry rang out in everyone's ears. Everyone's eyes widened as they discovered that someone had actually cut off one of the blood cherry blossom's tentacles. This brave person was none other than the demon. Half of the tentacle that had been cut in half fell to the ground and twitched continuously. A pool of red and stinky blood sprayed on the ground, burning a black mark on the ground. The owner of the tentacle, the blood cherry blossom, was furious. Damned human! If you dare to hurt me, I won't let you off. The blood cherry blossom's furious roar resounded within the secret chamber, reverberating in everyone's ears. Oh really? That's good, we won't let you off. Leng Ruoxue's calm voice rang out as she appeared beside the evildoer. You can all die. The blood cherry blossom roared in anger. The tentacles that were originally extending towards Feng De and Lin Yuan changed their direction and headed towards Leng Ruoxue and the demon. Just as the blood cherry blossom was about to attack Leng Ruoxue and the demon, Uncle Long and Master Ning ran towards the huge blood cherry blossom in the blood pool. In an instant, a sword and a steel fork stabbed towards the blood cherry blossom. Bang! The huge blood cherry blossom pattern did not move at all, and not a single mark was left on the delicate petals. The two of them immediately felt a little depressed. How could this broken flower be so sturdy? They had used at least 30% of their strength, but they had not even cut off a single petal. This fact made them feel extremely flustered. However, this struggle only lasted for a few seconds. Immediately after, the two of them attacked together and used all their strength to stab at the blood cherry blossom. Ow! A cry of pain rang out as the sturdy blood cherry blossom petals fell one after another. The blood in the pool of blood seemed to have become even redder. The blood cherry blossom shook its remaining petals and launched an angry counterattack. Not even in its dreams did it think that someone could actually hurt its petals. This fact made it feel ashamed and resentful, so it was angry. The consequences were very serious. Master Ning and Uncle Long, who had finally cut off more than half of the blood cherry blossom's petals, smiled proudly. Then, they brandished their weapons and attacked the blood cherry blossom. However, the blood cherry blossom was prepared and didn't intend to give them any chance to hurt it. The furious blood cherry blossom once again extended countless tentacles from its heart. However, this time, its tentacles were not as thick as the previous two. This time, the tentacles were only as thick as a baby's finger, and the suction cups were pitifully small. However, there were many of them. The moment the tentacles extended, they waved at everyone present. Looking at the tiny tentacle in front of their eyes, Uncle Long and the master of the Ning family couldn't help but laugh and sneer. "I say, blood-sucking flower, what are you doing? Can such a small thing take our lives?" The two of them were very curious. "You ignorant humans, you'll know once you try." Blood Cherry snorted coldly, her tone carrying a hint of iciness. "It's a pity I don't want to try," Uncle Long and Master Ning said at the same time. Then, they slashed at the tentacle in front of them. However, this time, the tentacle sensed their thoughts and retreated. Seeing this, the two of them used all their strength and filled their weapons with divine power. They slashed at the remaining petals of the blood cherry blossom again. As they attacked, the remaining petals of the blood cherry blossom left the flower and fell into the blood pool. Immediately, another cry of pain rang out in the secret chamber. "Arg! Despicable humans! You're all dead!" The blood Sakura roared, and the blood in the blood pool began to churn like rivers and seas. Hot red bubbles began to bubble violently. It wrapped around the withered blood cherry blossom, and its tentacles also retracted back into the pistol. Everyone looked confused. What was he playing at? Was the blood cherry blossom trying to harm herself? While everyone was puzzled, they did not forget to stare at the blood cherry blossom vigilantly. Soon after, they understood the blood cherry blossom's intention. It turned out that the flower was healing its injured body. Shui quickly set fire to it. "We can't let it be as good as it was before," the master of the Ning family ordered. Lung Ruoxuan nodded her head. Following that, a small red flame with a tinge of purple appeared on her fingertip. With a gentle flick, the flame jumped onto the blood cherry blossoms that were wrapped in the blood. In an instant, a sea of fire was set ablaze, and the painful cries from the sea of fire rang out in everyone's ears. "Arg! Humans! You'll regret it if you kill me!" The blood cherry blossom roared furiously. However, at this moment, no one paid any attention to its words. If it did not die, they would be the ones to die. Their lives were more important. Who could think about whether they would regret it or not? Moreover, even if he regretted it, that would be a matter for the future. There would always be a way out when the car came to the mountain. It was useless to think about those things now. Chapter 1800. Annihilated 3. At this moment, everyone's hearts were in one. After a long time, the cries of pain in the flames grew weaker and weaker until they disappeared. The blood in the blood pool was also burned to ashes by the fire. After the natal flames were retracted, everything in the blood pool was revealed to everyone. The blood pool that was originally made of white jade was now pitch black and in a mess. The huge blood cherry blossoms and the stinky blood had also turned to ashes. Seeing this, everyone's suspended hearts finally relaxed. Although the situation just now was a bit critical, other than Cheng Xian'er and Cheng Yi who had died, everyone else had been frightened but not in danger. However, the experience just now had made them break out in cold sweat. Now that they thought about it, they still felt a lingering fear. The flower is dead. We're safe. Let's look for the exit now. Seeing the tension in the crowd, the master of the Ning family reminded. However, as soon as he finished speaking, everyone saw the white jade blood pool disappear before their eyes. In its place was a teleportation gate that was shining with white light. Everyone looked at the teleportation gate in front of them, dumbfounded and puzzled. How did this happen? Master Ning had just told them to find the exit, and this teleportation gate had actually appeared. This was really strange. Could this be the exit? Everyone was bewildered, and they couldn't help but look at each other. "Master Ning, I don't know if this portal is dangerous. Do you think we should go in and take a look?" The head of the Yao family asked after a long while. "What do you mean by me? This isn't my business alone. If everyone has no objections, let's go in and take a look. Maybe it's the exit." The master of the Ning family glanced at the master of the Yao family and said indifferently, "Master Ning is right. This is our business. It's not up to us to decide. Whether we go in or not depends on everyone's opinion. If everyone agrees, then we'll go in and have a look. As the saying goes, without entering the tiger's cave, there's no tiger's child. If we don't verify it ourselves, we'll never know what's on the other side of the portal. This portal might be the exit." Uncle Long agreed. "What if there's danger?" An elder of the Yao family couldn't help but ask when he received a look from his family head. "Cultivation is dangerous. Why are you still cultivating?" Lung Ruoxue laughed coldly and asked with a mocking expression. The Yao family's elder choked on his words until his face turned red. Other than glaring at Lung Ruoxue, he could not even form a complete sentence. Who asked him to be a little afraid of this wretched girl? "Miss Lung, you promised to bring us out of here safely." At this time, someone reminded. "That's right. I wonder what you want me to do." "Would you believe me if I told you that this teleportation gate is the exit of this secret plane?" Lung Ruoxue said with a half-smile. "How can we believe you so easily? Unless you can prove it." The man thought for a while and gathered his courage. "How do you want me to prove it?" Lung Ruoxue smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes. To be honest, these people were always afraid of death at critical moments, which made her a little disgusted. However, since she had promised to take them away, she naturally wouldn't go back on her word. "Go in and see if it's the exit. If it's really the exit, we'll leave with you." The man shamelessly suggested. "What if it's really an exit and I can't come in after I get out? At that time, don't blame me for not keeping my promise." Lung Ruoxue reminded him calmly. Lung Ruoxue's words left that person speechless. The crowd was also in a dilemma. The atmosphere instantly fell silent. "Miss, let's just go in directly. As for these cowards, let them stay here." After a long while, when he saw that no one had any reaction, Feng De couldn't help but shout. His words almost caused everyone to be angry. "How can I do that? How can you leave us here? You're really too shameless. You took our money, but you don't care if we live or die." The crowd criticized, and the Yao family was the representative. "Since when did we not care about your life and death? Please be clear, it's you who are as timid as mice and don't dare to go out through this portal. We didn't want to leave you here." Feng De laughed and thought to himself, there are really a lot of top-grade guys in this world. Why didn't the flower just eat them? He thought to himself with some evil intentions, his heart full of regret. "That's right. I'll give you two choices now. One is to leave with me, and the other is to stay here." Lung Ruoxue chuckled. She didn't want to waste any more time with a certain someone. "Those who want to leave with me, stand on my side. Those who don't want to leave, just stand on the Yao family head's side." Lung Ruoxue looked at the situation and added. However, her addition made the head of the Yao family extremely angry. Why were those who didn't want to go out on his side? He also wanted to leave, okay? However, his thoughts were the same as those who wanted Lung Ruoxue to verify it first. It could also be said that he was the one who incited it. He wanted to leave, but he cherished his life. Hence, he hoped that Lung Ruoxue would be the lab rat for this experiment. However, Lung Ruoxue clearly did not fall for his trick. The moment Lung Ruoxue finished speaking, Feng De, Lin Yuan, the Ning family head, Uncle Long, the Chung family head, and the beasts from the endless ocean all automatically stood by Lung Ruoxue's side. Those who didn't move, on the other hand, stood with the Yao family head, forming two distinct camps. "Yao family head, you guys take care, we'll be leaving first." Seeing this, Lung Ruoxue smiled and said. After she finished speaking, she turned around and led the group into the teleportation gate. "Wait!" Lung Ruoxue had just taken one step in when she was stopped by the Yao clan's clan leader. He continued, "Well, go with you." The Yao family head wasn't stupid. If Lung Ruoxue and the rest left, they wouldn't have any advantage if they stayed here alone. If another group of men in black and monsters came, they wouldn't be able to deal with them alone. Hence, even though they couldn't confirm what was on the other side of the teleportation gate, they could look out for each other if there was danger. It was better than being in the dark. Actually, everyone understood this logic. However, some of those who were hoping for a fluke were still hesitant. However, when they saw that Lung Ruoxue and the rest were really preparing to leave, they became anxious. We will leave with you. Someone quickly chimed in. You guys better think carefully. The other side of the portal might not be the exit. Lung Ruoxue reminded him again. It doesn't matter. Without entering the tiger's lair, how can one obtain the tiger's child? Uncle Long's words were being used by them. Then let's go. The corners of Lung Ruoxue's mouth twitched. Then she stepped into the teleportation gate, and the rest followed closely behind. With a flash of white light, they appeared in a forest. All they could see were tall, towering trees. The dense leaves blocked the scorching sun, and the place they were at was exceptionally cool. Where is this place? Are we out? The crowd was puzzled and uncertain. Don't worry. We've already come out. Lung Ruoxue said softly. Green Vessel had confirmed that they had already left the secret realm. As for this forest, it was a nameless forest in the divinity. There were many forests like this in the divinity. The endless sea is north of here. We can split up now. Lung Ruoxue continued. Miss Lung, let's go together. Well, separate when we reach the city. Someone said worriedly. There were many forests in the divine realm, so they couldn't tell where they were at the moment. Naturally, they didn't dare to travel alone, for fear of encountering danger. Do as you please. Lung Ruoxue understood and ignored them after she finished speaking. She summoned the little peacock and called for the demon child and the rest to sit on its back. Seeing this, everyone summoned their flying beasts and prepared to leave. On the way, Lung Ruoxue and the rest headed straight for the Ning clan's god domain. The Cheng clan, Yin clan, Shin Nuo, and the Great Elder brought their own family members and left one after another. Shou from the Endless Ocean also returned to his lair in the Endless Ocean after bidding farewell to Uncle Long. As for the worried Yao clan head and the rest, they flew slowly behind them. Miss, they've been following us. Fengde was a little angry. Were these people done? If they want to follow, then let them. They're afraid that I'm lying to them. Lung Ruoxue said. Swear, don't worry. When we reach the city, they will confirm it and stop following us. The head of the Ning family promised, and as he had expected, the moment they arrived in the city, the head of the Yao family no longer followed them. Without anyone tailing them, Lung Ruoxue and the rest flew straight for the Ning family's divine territory in a good mood. When they arrived at the Ning family's main residence, Lung Ruoxue did not exchange pleasantries with anyone. She greeted her godfather directly and entered the house to cultivate in seclusion. In the main hall of the Ning family's residence, the Ning family, led by the second elder, were all moved to tears after seeing their ancestor, unable to speak. After a long time, the second elder finally said, "Old ancestor, you're finally back. Yes, you've worked hard these days." The master of the Ning family glanced at the second elder and the others and said with satisfaction. After not seeing them for so long, the aura of the second elder and the others seemed to be more vigorous. Moreover, they had also changed a lot. This kind of change was what he wanted to see. It's not hard on us, this is what we should do. The second elder didn't dare to claim credit for himself. Compared to before, he was much more modest. Second brother. I'm very pleased to see you like this. The master of the Ning family said happily. Hearing this, the second elder was depressed. Could he not call him second brother? Chapter 1801, Blood, Punishment, 1. However, the second elder only dared to think about it in his heart. He did not dare to say it out loud. Feeling depressed, the second elder dutifully reported to the master what had happened in the Ning family during their absence and emphasized the matter of the third elder. After all, the third elder was not an ordinary elder of the Ning family, so the master could not ask about the third elder. You said third brother went to the secret realm? After hearing the second elder's words, Master Ning frowned, and his tone was even more indifferent, making it impossible to tell whether he was happy or angry. It should be, the second elder quickly said. In fact, he wasn't very sure either, because the third elder left without saying goodbye. But we didn't see him in the secret realm. The master of the Ning family frowned, a faint anger in his heart. This third brother was really outrageous. As an elder of the Ning family, how could he do such a willful thing? Family head, then. The second elder was speechless. He only finished half of his sentence when he saw that the family head's expression didn't look too good, so he didn't continue. Don't worry about him. He's a reverent god after all. He can't possibly not have the ability to protect himself. The master of the Ning family waved his hand and said, in fact, the reason why he was so at ease was that there were no more black-clothed men and monsters in the secret realm. Therefore, even if third elder was still there, his life should not be in danger. More importantly, he also wanted to punish third elder, so he did not want to send anyone to find him. Yes, master, that's secret realm. The second elder looked at his ancestor curiously. When the others heard the word secret realm, they also stared at Master Ning with anticipation. AI. It's not a secret realm at all. We'll just be courting death if we go there. The master of the Ning family sighed, his handsome face full of anger. Then he briefly explained the situation of the secret realm to everyone, including how the Wen family's head had set up a trap to deceive them, how he had fled in a panic, and the matter of the black-clothed man and the monster. Second elder and the others were dumbfounded and tongue-tied after listening to it. Master, is this all part of Master Wen's scheme? The second elder asked in disbelief. He couldn't understand why the Wen family head would have the guts to do such a thing. Wasn't he afraid that the matter would be exposed and cause public anger? By now, he should have already incurred the wrath of the masses. The master of the Ning family nodded. He's so bold. How dare he make so many top forces his enemy? The second elder was left speechless. This didn't seem like something a normal person would do. He didn't expect that the matter would be exposed. Moreover, he's just a small fry. The person behind him is very powerful. It's because he has someone to back him up that he dared to do this. The master of the Ning family said with a headache. Although he didn't want to connect the mastermind of the Snow Mountain secret realm a few years ago with the owner of the secret realm this time, the reality was cruel. All the evidence pointed to the same person. Even though he did not know why that person would do this, he had to be on guard. Fortunately, that person still didn't know that they were the ones who had destroyed the secret realm of the Snow Mountain a few years ago. Otherwise, their Ning family would probably not be able to live in peace. However, he didn't intend to tell the second elder and the others about this matter, so as not to cause panic among the clansmen. The second elder and the others nodded in agreement after hearing the patriarch's analysis. Then, the second elder continued asking, Master, what should we do with the Wen family? Since the Wen family's head had done such a thing, these forces that had been deceived would not let them off. As one of the 8 great divine regions, the Wen family's territory and wealth would make people covet them. In the eyes of the other forces, the Wen family had probably become a piece of fat meat waiting for everyone to divide. No one would let go of this rare opportunity. Just send someone to keep an eye on the Wen family's every move. You don't have to interfere with the rest of the matters. The master of the Ning family said after some thought. The second elder was stunned for a moment, then nodded. Although he didn't understand the family head's intentions, they had to carry out the family head's orders unconditionally, so he tactfully didn't say much. All right, the Wen family only needs to send people to keep an eye on the secret realm. As for the Ning family, you must also restrain them recently. They are not allowed to cause trouble in the divine realm, otherwise, they will be punished by the family laws. I'm going back to rest, you guys can leave. After making the arrangements, the master of the Ning family left the hall. After Master Ning had left, second elder efficiently arranged everything and went to find Ning Haolon to get more information. At this time, Lung Ruoxue had already gone into closed-door cultivation. At the same time, a bloody punishment was being carried out in a certain luxurious and tall palace in the divine realm. In the magnificent hall of the palace, a middle-aged man in black clothes was tied to a pillar. His face was extremely pale, and his forehead was covered in cold sweat. His clothes had long since been drenched in sweat, but at this time he did not even dare to frown. His body was covered with tiny tentacles, and the blood in his body was being sucked out of his body through these tentacles. The man gritted his teeth and endured the pain. He did not make a sound because he knew that if he dared to make a sound, his Lord would not let him go. If he could stand this punishment, his Lord would most likely give him a chance to make a contribution for his crime. This was his only chance of survival. The middle-aged man was none other than Black One, who had used the teleportation divine talisman to escape from the secret realm. After Black One escaped from the secret realm, he immediately returned here to beg for forgiveness from his Lord. His Lord was naturally furious and immediately ordered him to be locked up in the prison to await punishment. Just as he was worried about what kind of punishment he would receive, he heard that the clone that his Lord had left in the secret realm had been destroyed. At that time, he was immediately dumbfounded. His Lord's strength was unfathomable, and even if the clone was not as strong as his Lord, it had at least 30% of his Lord's strength. How could it be destroyed so easily? One had to know that his strength was not even 10% of his masteress. When he heard the news, his first reaction was that it was impossible. His second reaction was that he was dead because he knew how important that clone was to his Lord. Moreover, it was one of his Lord's 3 great clones. Now that one of them was destroyed, it would have a great impact on his Lord's strength. Thinking of this, his heart was like dead ashes. The Lord's punishment also made him feel deep despair. He didn't know if he still had any hope of living, but he still didn't dare to show his timidity and fear. Otherwise, his Lord would make him die even faster. Black One's consciousness began to fade as he looked at the tentacles that were stuck all over his body and the incense burning in the incense burner in the hall. It had been 3 days and 3 nights. If he was still alive after the incense had burned out, then his life would be saved. Although the incense was only a few centimeters long, he was not sure if he could survive the last bit of time because he wanted to sleep so badly. Chapter 1802, Bloody Punishment 2. After a while, the incense finally burned out. Although the process took less than half an hour, it felt like 100 years to Black One. The moment the incense finished burning, the freed Black One immediately fainted. "Master, Black One has fainted." A man's deep voice rang out in the silent hall. As the voice fell, a woman's figure appeared on the throne. This woman was dressed in fiery red clothes. Her beauty was devastatingly beautiful. Her skin was as white as snow, tender and creamy. Her figure was enchanting, and she had a natural charm all over her body. However, there was no smile on her face at this time. 2 flames of anger burned in her beautiful and bright eyes. "Take him away," the woman coldly ordered. "Yes. Yes," the man replied. With a wave of his hand, 2 men in black appeared and dragged the unconscious Black One away. "Have you found Black Two's whereabouts?" the woman asked again. "Not yet," the man said honestly. "A bunch of trash. Didn't I already tell you where he might be?" The woman was furious. Damn Hayer. He didn't come back to apologize to her immediately after such a thing happened. He actually fled on his own. She would not let that traitor off. "Master, Hayer is very cunning. We went to his hiding place as you ordered, but he ran away," the man said gloomily. Hayer was also a reverent god, and he would be alerted every time they got close, so they had never been able to catch him. "Don't tell me that I have to personally capture someone?" The woman frowned and said with a slight displeasure. "Master, this Black Two is already disloyal, why not?" The man made a cracking motion. If his master wanted to kill Black Two would not be able to escape. But the key was that he was not clear about his master's intentions, so he could only try to suggest. "If I just kill him, you guys will be able to save a lot of trouble, right? Then what's the use of having you?" The woman lifted her eyelids slightly and said in a cold tone, "Yes." She had already planted her mark on Black Two, so she could kill him with a thought. But Black Two was a reverent god. How could she bear to let him die so easily? She had always been envious of the reverent god's vitality. Otherwise, she wouldn't have taken the risk to let Black 2 trick Master Ning and the others into the secret realm. Who knew that he was actually a guy who failed and ruined everything? Not only did she fail, but she also exposed herself. In this way, she could not let He continue to live in front of people. "Please forgive me, my lord." When the man heard this, he quickly knelt down. Otherwise, with his lord's fickle temper, he might also become fertilizer in a rage. Therefore, he did not dare to anger his lord at all. "Remember, I'm your master, I don't need you to teach me how to do things," the woman said coldly. Then, she slowly said, "How are Master Ning and the others?" "They've already returned to their respective homes. At present, I've sent people to closely monitor them." The man quickly replied, "Be careful not to alert the enemy. By the way, have you found out who destroyed my clone?" The woman asked again, her voice filled with anger. She had a total of 3 bodies, one of which was the main body, and the other 2 were clones. The clones had 30% of her full strength, so what did 30% mean? That meant that she had at least 10,000 years of cultivation. However, it was destroyed in an instant. How could she not be angry? What was even more infuriating was that she did not know who had the ability to destroy her clone. One had to know that her clone might not be as powerful as her main body, but its strength was not to be underestimated. However, it had been destroyed by a fire. This was an unbelievable thing. Although the clone looked weak, it was extremely hard. Ordinary flames could not destroy it at all. The only things that could harm her clone were the 2 legendary divine flames. However, in the entire divine realm, no one had ever heard of anyone possessing those flames. The woman narrowed her beautiful eyes and appeared to be in deep thought. "Your subordinate is still investigating." The man lowered his head and said with some fear. He did not know if his lord was about to get angry again because his lord had been in a bad mood recently. Therefore, they had been living in an abyss of suffering. A bunch of trash. Hurry up and find out. When the woman heard this, she was indeed very angry. If she wasn't in urgent need of manpower, these trash would have long become her fertilizer. She couldn't find He and she couldn't find the person who destroyed her clone. She really didn't know what was the use of keeping them. The more the woman thought about it, the angrier she became. In the end, she simply disappeared. She didn't know what she would do if she stayed any longer. After the woman disappeared, the man was so scared that he wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and let out a long breath. Fortunately, although his lord was very angry, he did not take action against him. After calming his pounding heart, the man disappeared. Time passed. Lung Ruoxue had already been in the purple bamboo house for a week. However, she didn't go into seclusion. Instead, after feeling that she could advance, she concentrated on researching a pill recipe that could restore life force. Before this, they had been in the secret realm, so this matter had been put on hold. After searching the entire alchemy room, she really did find a pill formula that could restore vitality among the pill formulas her master had left behind. However, when she saw the medicinal herbs required, she had a headache. The elixir that could restore vitality was called the Vitality Elixir. It required 5 main ingredients, which included the fish scale flower and dragon's beard grass, 2 extremely rare and precious herbs. As for the other 3, although they were not nearly extinct like the other 2, they were definitely hard to find. Hence, Lung Ruoxue was in a dilemma, and even more so, her heart ached. With the herbs she had on hand, she definitely couldn't refine a pill that could restore everyone's vitality. However, fortunately, she wasn't a saint and wouldn't feel guilty because she couldn't help others. However, as a result, she had to think carefully about how to distribute the pills. Following the pill formula, Lung Ruoxue took out her personal pill furnace and placed the medicinal herbs in one by one. When she placed the main medicinal herb in, her brows furrowed together. So, these medicinal herbs couldn't be bought even with money. Her heart really ached. After making up her mind, Lung Ruoxue threw all the medicinal herbs into the pot. Then, she closed her beautiful eyes and pretended that her heart wouldn't ache if she didn't see them. The evildoer and green vessel who were watching from the side, could not help but chuckle when they saw Lung Ruox's pained expression. Why was Schwer so cute? His devilish bright eyes stared at Lung Ruoxue as he thought to himself. Green Vessel immediately consoled her, "Sister, don't worry. With Little Fish and Little Dragon, you can use as many fish scale flowers and dragon beard grass as you want." Chapter 1803, Bloody Punishment 3. However, he could not do it now. Qing Ju added in his heart. At this stage, the Little Fish and the Little Dragon had already contributed their savings that they had accumulated for many years. They were also about to be refined into medicinal pills by their sister. Therefore, they could only wait. After all, they could not hurt the Little Fish and the Little Dragon's main bodies just to save some insignificant people. It should be known that they had to side with the people on the inside. Lung Ruoxue nodded. When she felt that it was about time, she opened her beautiful eyes and stared at the pill furnace. At this moment, the medicinal ingredients had all melted. The next step was to purify and finally condense the pill. After the pills were formed, Lung Ruoxue opened the pill furnace and saw dozens of red and green pills lying in the furnace. She picked one up and sniffed it. A faint fragrance immediately entered her nose. Instantly, her spirit was lifted. It was indeed good stuff. Then, she put the pills away in a jade bottle and continued to refine 2 more furnaces. In the end, she counted and found a total of 100 vitality pills. After refining the elixir, Lung Ruoxue and the demon took out the bangle. Then, she directly advanced to God-tier master in the courtyard. Because it wasn't the heaven-defying art that had advanced this time, her strength didn't increase by much. As for the heaven-defying art, the amount of divine power it required was beyond her imagination. As for her beasts, not many of them had advanced in rank this time, but the divine power in their bodies had increased by a large amount. After their master had advanced in rank, they took the initiative to request to return to the bracelet to continue cultivating. After Lung Ruoxue had completed her advancement, she only saw 2 maidservants, Grape and Lotus Seed. After asking around, she found out that Feng De and the rest had also gone into seclusion. She smiled helplessly and brought the evildoer to her godfather's residence. Walking into her godfather's courtyard, Lung Ruoxue saw Uncle Long sitting alone in the courtyard drinking tea. When he saw Lung Ruoxue, he waved at her. "Little girl, you've advanced? Come over and sit," Uncle Long said with a smile. "Yes." Lung Ruoxue pulled the evildoer over to sit opposite Uncle Long. She then smiled at Uncle Long. "Uncle Long, is Godfather not here?" She had heard that Uncle Long had been with her godfather the past few days she was in seclusion. Moreover, the 2 of them had a good conversation. But why was Uncle Long alone here now? This made her a little puzzled. They were, but Master Yao and the others came just now, so Master Ning went to greet them. Uncle Long explained. "Oh, they must be here for the Wen family, right?" Lung Ruoxue guessed. "It must be. They won't let go of the fat piece of meat that is the Wen family." "Do you think I should also send a message to the beasts of the Endless Sea and let them have a share?" Uncle Long asked with an evil smile. "I should." Lung Ruoxue nodded and passed a jade bottle to Uncle Long. "What is this?" Uncle Long was confused. "Vitality pill, it can recover one's vitality," Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. "Little girl, you really refined it? That's great." Uncle Long immediately said with joy. "Uncle Long, the price of this vitality pill is too high, just the main ingredients alone need 5, and that also includes fish scale flower and dragon's beard grass. So, I can only make 100 pills, and I can't give all of them to you, only 50 pills. In addition, I can give 30 to Godfather, and he'll keep 20 for myself. As for how to distribute these vitality pills, you can do as you see fit." Lung Ruoxue explained. "Little girl, thank you. By the way, how much are you planning to sell this vitality pill for?" Uncle Long asked again. He didn't dare to take such a valuable elixir for free. Furthermore, he didn't want Lung Ruoxue to suffer a loss. After all, refining these elixirs cost a lot of money, and the herbs in her hands didn't come from nowhere. "It's up to you, Uncle Long." Lung Ruoxue became a hands-off shopkeeper. Actually, it wasn't that she didn't want to offer a price, but the beasts of the endless ocean were too poor. Hence, she didn't expect to earn much from giving Uncle Long these pills. It was basically a free gift. However, she couldn't say it too clearly, or Uncle Long would definitely feel bad. Little girl, Uncle Long would like to thank you on behalf of the beasts of the endless ocean. From now on, you will be a distinguished guest of the endless ocean. Uncle Long sobbed. He understood what this girl meant. She was being so generous because she was giving him face. Otherwise, she wouldn't have to do this. After all, if these pills were put on the market, they would definitely be priceless. Even if you had money, you wouldn't be able to buy them. Uncle Long, you don't have to be so polite. Lung Ruoxue didn't think much of it. After all, she had always been friendly to Beastie. Yes, I am. Girl, I'll go back to the endless ocean first. I'll come back immediately after I'm done with this. Uncle Long nodded. Then he teleported away impatiently. He's really an impatient one. The evildoer couldn't help but ask when he saw Uncle Long leave. Who's the impatient one? At this moment, Master Ning's voice cut in. Lung Ruoxue raised her head and saw her godfather walking in. He's talking about Uncle Long. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. What happened to that old whale? The master of the Ning family asked curiously. I gave Uncle Long some vitality pills, so he was in a hurry to return to the endless ocean. Lung Ruoxue gave a simple explanation. Vitality pill? What's the use of it? Master Ning asked shamelessly. It can restore vitality. Lung Ruoxue's smile was extremely innocent. Swear, is this true? Hearing this, Master Ning was excited. It was to restore vitality. Then this medicinal pill was really too heaven-defying. It was no wonder that old whale left as he wished. He knew very well that the life force of many beasts in the endless sea had been sucked away by that blood cherry blossom. Godfather, this is for you. Lung Ruoxue handed over a jade bottle as well. Then I won't be polite. The master of the Ning family quickly put the jade bottle into his storage ring. This was a good thing. Godfather, no one's going to fight with you. Lung Ruoxue was speechless when she saw how careful her godfather was. How can there not be any? You don't know this, but the blood cherry blossoms have absorbed quite a bit of the Yao family's elders' life force, so they need this. If they know that we have vitality pills in our hands, they'll definitely go crazy. The master of the Ning family reminded him cautiously. Then can't you sell them a few pills? The Yao family is rich. Lung Ruoxue reminded. Please, I don't want to sell it to them. I want to keep it for myself, in case I need it in the future. The master of the Ning family asked. Swearer girl, you've given me a vitality pill, so I can't let you suffer a loss. Go to our Ning family's treasure vault and pick out some good things. Take whatever you like. The master of the Ning family added generously. Thank you, godfather. I won't stand on ceremony then. Lung Ruoxue had a you better not regret it look on her face. Little girl. You're welcome, godfather's is naturally yours. The master of the Ning family wasn't just ordinarily open-minded. I'll go pick some when I have time. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. Following that she asked, Godfather, I heard that the Yao family head and the others have arrived? Yes, it's not just him. The forces that went to the mystic realm this time have also sent people. The master of the Ning family said, You made an appointment? Lung Ruoxue understood. Yes, the Yao family made an appointment to discuss with us. However, to put it bluntly, they just wanted to inform us that the Yao family has no intention of letting go of this fat piece of meat, the Wen family. The master of the Ning family said with a smile. What does Godfather plan to do? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Girl, do you have any objections? The master of the Ning family asked instead of answering. We haven't found the head of the Wen family yet. Besides, the person behind him is very troublesome. Hence, I don't suggest that Godfather make a move. If the Yao family and the rest insist on going, Godfather can just send some people to help them out. When it comes to the distribution of benefits, the Yao family can also get more. After all, this matter is still very risky. Lung Ruoxue analyzed. That old man from the Wen family had always been a huge threat. However, he had managed to escape back in the mystic realm. At that time, the monsters and the men in black were eyeing them covetously. Hence, no one had the time to chase after the Wen family head. They would most likely not be able to catch up to him either. After all, he was the local tyrant. Yes, I think so too. The fat piece of meat in the Wen family is not delicious. If he really devours the Wen family, the old god of plagues will have nothing to worry about. At that time, if he really goes crazy, we will be the ones to suffer. The master of the Ning family said worriedly. Godfather is right. Now is not the best time to swallow the Wen family. If we act too early, we will only alert the enemy. Lung Ruoxue agreed. AI. How can I change the Yao family's old man's mind? The master of the Ning family sighed. I'm afraid it won't be easy. The Yao family has suffered heavy losses in the secret realm, so the Yao family head is in such a hurry to recover some losses. By the way, what are the opinions of the Chung clan, the Yin clan, and the other major guilds? Lung Ruoxue continued to ask. They said that the majority rules. The master of the Ning family was somewhat helpless. If that's the case, shouldn't we discuss this with the beasts of the Endless Sea? After all, they are also victims of the secret plane. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly. That old thing from the Yao family will never agree. How could he let the beasts of the endless ocean have a share of the loot? The master of the Ning family shook his head. It was already beyond his expectations that the old man was willing to come and discuss with them. Isn't Uncle Long's seniority very high? With Uncle Long around, he should at least give us some face, right? Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly. She had heard from the great elder about Uncle Long's glorious deeds. Well, he wouldn't dare to not give face to Uncle Long. But has Uncle Long returned to the endless ocean? Master Ning was a little embarrassed. Uncle Long will be back in a few days. You guys can discuss it over the next few days. Lung Ruoxue smiled like a cunning little fox, a sly look flashing across her beautiful eyes. Chapter 1804. Hatred 1. After hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, Master Ning had an idea. Then he revealed an unspoken evil smile. He understood what Schwer meant and would definitely entertain the representatives sent by the various forces. As for whether or not to annex the Wen family now, it would naturally have to be discussed among everyone. This was not something that one family could make the decision on their own, unless they were not afraid of angering the public. In the next few days, the master of the Ning family declined to discuss with the Yao family and the others, saying that he had something important to do. The representative he sent, the second elder, always said in fear and trepidation that he would have a meeting with the family elders to discuss it. This dragged on, and nearly half a month passed. Uncle Dragon had also returned from the Endless Sea, and with him were the most powerful tribes in the Endless Sea, including the Dolphin tribe. The Dolphin race had sent an important old ancestor. He was also a direct senior of Lung Ruoxue's little dolphin. Hence, Lung Ruoxue was very enthusiastic about his arrival. This gave him a lot of face. The attention he received from Lung Ruoxue also made him feel proud in front of the other sea beasts. His tail was almost raised up. In order to make arrangements for them, Master Ning had specially arranged an independent guest courtyard for them to stay in. Lung Ruoxue had also taken the time to entertain them. The beast representatives of the Endless Ocean were exceptionally enthusiastic when they saw Lung Ruoxue. Each of them gave her a gift. Although the gifts they gave were all from the Endless Ocean, Lung Ruoxue was shocked when she saw the gifts. The gifts they gave were all refining materials from the bottom of the ocean. Most of those materials might not be very precious, but they were in large quantities. Thus, when Lung Ruoxue saw the small mountain of refining materials, she was at a loss for words. These beasts were not only passionate, but also very cute. After using materials that were worthless in their eyes as gifts, they felt embarrassed and were afraid that she would dislike them. When they saw her smile, they heaved a sigh of relief. In the living room, when Uncle Long saw that they had heaved a sigh of relief, he laughed and teased, "I told you that this girl likes these things, and you didn't believe me." You can rest assured now. Hee hee. Uncle Long. No one would pick up those things in our endless ocean. We're just afraid of losing face for you, old man. The old dolphin said awkwardly. No one picked it up because we don't have anyone who can refine weapons, and humans who can refine weapons can't go that deep into the sea, so no one took it. But in the eyes of human artifact masters, those things are really good things. Uncle Long said emotionally. He was experienced and knowledgeable, so he naturally knew what was valuable. However, he didn't have any concept of money, and he didn't care about those worldly possessions. After hearing Uncle Long's words, Lung Ruoxu's heart skipped a beat. She smiled faintly and said, Uncle Long is right. I do need a large amount of blacksmithing materials. If you are willing to help me collect them, I will buy them at the market price. Of course, I can also exchange them with other items. Miss Lung, what you mean is that we can use these things to exchange for your medicinal pills. When the old dolphin heard this, it immediately perked up. Medicinal pills. It was something all beasts dreamed of, but unfortunately, none of them knew how to refine it. Of course. Other than medicinal pills, I still have quite a few spirit fruits in my hands. I can exchange them for anything. Lung Ruoshu laughed. Miss Lung, is there a time limit for this? The old dolphin asked anxiously. There were many good things at the bottom of the endless sea, but unfortunately, they could only look at them. If they could really use those things to exchange for some medicinal pills, they would not be afraid even if they met enemies in the future. However, it would take time to collect the minerals, so he wanted to ask. There's no deadline. As long as you have it, you can come to me. You can also save it up and exchange it with me. Lung Ruoxue smiled. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that this was a good idea. One should know that the sea was famous for being a natural treasure trove. There were all kinds of good things in it. Unfortunately, it was fine for her to go there occasionally, but she could not go down to the bottom of the sea to search for treasures often. However, if she had the help of these local tyrants of the endless sea, the situation would be different. Furthermore, this would be a win-win situation for them. Miss Lung, it's settled then. They'll pass on the good news later. I believe that the group of juniors in the endless ocean will be very happy. The old dolphin said excitedly. He didn't expect that this trip to the Ning family would bring such great news to the sea beasts in the endless sea. This was really beyond his expectations. Originally, he had come with the intention of befriending Lung Ruoxue. After all, Lung Ruoxue was not only the master of his descendants, but also their savior. Furthermore, he was very optimistic about Lung Ruoxue's future potential. In addition, Uncle Long admired Lung Ruoxue very much. She was also the goddaughter of the Ning family's master. With so many identities and such a strong backing, the shrewd old dolphin naturally hoped to be able to get closer to Lung Ruoxue. Or was it more beneficial than harmful to the beasts of the endless sea? However, if they were to rely on the little dolphin and Uncle Long's relationship, the beasts of the endless ocean would not be able to catch the little dolphin's eye. Now, they had become partners and had used the vast resources of the endless ocean to get closer to Lung Ruoxue. In the future, their relationship would only get closer and closer. This kind of cooperation would bring many benefits to the beasts of the endless ocean. With this thought, the smile on the old dolphin's face grew wider. One had to know that he had come to the endless ocean with the important task of getting closer to Lung Ruoxue. The others also followed his lead. Now that he had done it without much effort, his status in the endless ocean would definitely be higher when he returned. The status of the dolphin race in the endless ocean would probably be unparalleled. I'm happy just thinking about it. Lung Ruoxue smiled in satisfaction when she saw the old dolphin and the other beasts' happy faces. She then changed the topic back to the Wen family. Uncle Long, I'm sure you're clear about the Yao family's intentions. I'd like to hear your opinions. Lung Ruoxue. These past few days, Godfather and the rest had been trying to drag things out, neither agreeing nor rejecting. However, the dissatisfaction of the Yao family was growing. Girl, I'm afraid the Yao family won't want us to have a share of the loot. Uncle Long understood. For so many years, the humans and magical beasts had seemed to live in peace, but in reality, Their relationship was not good. Now that such a huge benefit was involved, the humans would probably not allow the magical beasts to interfere. That's for sure. However, we can't let this matter go their way. Moreover, I have a reason for wanting you to interfere in this matter. Lung Ruoxue replied nonchalantly. She then continued, actually, Godfather and I don't agree to take action against the Wen family now. After all, the Wen family's master is still out there. If we were to take action now, I'm afraid that the old man will go crazy. By then, we'll be in the open while the enemy is in the dark and we'll be in a passive position. Now that the Wen family is holding us back, the Wen family's master won't dare to appear in front of us easily unless he doesn't care about the Wen family's life anymore. In this case, it'll give us some time to recuperate and build up our strength. Chapter 1805. Hatred 2. Yup. The trip to the secret realm has greatly damaged our vitality. If we attack the Wen family now, it will be a problem for us when the old man of the Wen family goes crazy. Uncle Long nodded. Then what should we do? The old dolphin asked worriedly. He wasn't worried about himself. After all, they lived in the sea. No matter how powerful the Wen family head was, he wouldn't dare to go down to the endless sea to deal with them. However, he was worried about Lung Ruoxue and the others. Their strength was too low. If the Wen family head wanted to make a move, he would definitely find trouble with them first. Being targeted by a reverent god was a very troublesome matter. It's best if we can dispel the Yao family's thoughts. If it really doesn't work, we should try not to get involved. Otherwise, there will be endless trouble. Uncle Long frowned and thought for a while. Actually, if the Yao family really wants to swallow up the Wen family now, it's not impossible to let them take the lead. It's a pity that they've now set their sights on Godfather. They want Godfather to be the leader. This is not something I can tolerate. Lung Ruoxue said angrily. She had finally managed to save her Godfather, so how could she allow him to be used by others? Moreover, that was the Yao family. Whatever the girl wants us to do, we'll just cooperate. After hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, Uncle Long laughed out loud. He believed that this little girl definitely had an idea. Uncle Long, I want you all to join in and pester endlessly. In short, you must get a share of this, and when the time comes, you can give Master Yao a headache. Lung Ruoxue revealed her plan with an evil smile. Alright, wasn't he just pestering endlessly? I'm the best at this, and I don't think he would dare to not give me face. Uncle Long said confidently. Then he'll just wait to watch a good show. Lung Ruoxue chuckled. Yes, I am. But girl, you have to make more delicious food for me. If I don't eat enough, it will affect my performance. Uncle Long said with a thick face. No problem. Uncle Long, just tell me what you want to eat. Lung Ruoxue said generously. Her words made Uncle Long beam with joy. The next day, the master of the Ning family, who had disappeared for many days, finally reappeared in front of the Yao family. However, he was not alone. Lung Ruoxue, the demon, Uncle Long, and the beast representatives from the endless ocean had all appeared. In the Ning family's hall, the master of the Ning family sat on the main seat, while the elders of the Ning family sat below him. Lung Ruoxue and the others also found their own seats. However, no one spoke first, and the atmosphere was still gloomy. After an unknown amount of time, the head of the Yao family finally couldn't help but speak. Master Ning, we've been discussing for so many days. We should have a conclusion, right? The Yao family's master said, holding back his anger. The reason he had come to the Ning family in person was that he was afraid that others couldn't handle this old thing of the Ning family. But who knew that this old thing wouldn't even give him face? It was really infuriating. It just so happens that the representative of the endless ocean is also here, so let's try to reach a conclusion today. The master of the Ning family said with a smile. Master Ning, we've been discussing this for so many days, and you still want to discuss it today? Upon hearing this, the head of the Yao family was so angry that he almost passed out. Of course we have to discuss it. Didn't the endless sea send someone here? We should also listen to their opinions. Master Ning said matter-of-factly. This is a matter between us humans. Why should we listen to their opinions? The head of the Yao family said through gritted teeth. If he could, he really wanted to step forward and bite the old man of the Ning family. Initially, he had felt the pain in his heart when he divided the Wen family with so many people. Now, those beasts of the endless ocean actually wanted to get involved. This was really intolerable. Master Yao, you're wrong. The beasts of the endless ocean are also victims of the secret realm. Besides, they've fought with us before, they're our comrades. Since the secret realm was created by the old god of plagues, the beasts of the endless ocean naturally have the right to take revenge on the Wen family. This is immoral. The Ning family's master said earnestly, his expression as if he was very disappointed with the Yao family's master, causing the Yao family's master to turn red with anger. Master Ning is right. Yao family Jr., I want to ask you, what do you mean by your human affairs? Although this old man isn't a human, shouldn't a human like you still call me senior? Moreover, I've only learned today that revenge can be divided into human matters and non-human matters. This is racial discrimination. If I remember correctly, our great master you once said that all races, regardless of their status, are the children of heaven and earth, and everyone should be treated equally. Uncle Long said indifferently as he raised his eyes. Uncle Long, I didn't mean it that way. The head of the Yao family said fearfully after hearing what Uncle Long had to say. Although he was gnashing his teeth in hatred, he didn't dare to act rashly in front of an old beast like Uncle Long who had lived for who knew how many years. After all, Uncle Long's reputation was too frightening. If that's the case, then let the beasts of the endless ocean join in. Uncle Long seized the opportunity and said impolitely, I don't have any objections. Without waiting for Master Yao to speak, Master Ning quickly said. Looking at Master Yao's red face, with no place to vent his anger, he really felt that he had been hiding too much. Hee. Uncle Long is the best. In front of him, the old man of the Yao clan had no temper at all. Uncle Long, what do you guys think? After a long time, the head of the Yao family took a few deep breaths and asked while pretending to be calm. In fact, he was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. We don't have much of an opinion. If you want to destroy the Wen family, then go. However, we have to study the distribution of benefits carefully. We, the beasts of the endless sea, can't be at a disadvantage. Uncle Long was very protective. I don't want much from you, how about this? You humans and US beastmen will split it 50-50, after each family gets half, you can split it again. Oh, it's decided then. Uncle Long added. The moment he finished speaking, everyone from the Yao family was dumbfounded and tongue-tied as they stared at him in disbelief. Lung Ruoshu, Master Ning, and the evildoer could not help but laugh in their hearts. Ha! Uncle Long was really too evil. He wanted to take half of the profits all of a sudden. The Yao family and the others would be heartbroken to death. Uncle Long, isn't a 50-50 split a little unfair? After a long while, the head of the Yao family, who had regained his senses, carefully opened his mouth and asked. He couldn't help but curse in his heart. This old whale was really too ruthless. He didn't even dare to ask for half of the benefits, so how could this old whale open his mouth? How is it unfair? I'm distributing it according to race. You're humans, so you're a team, and the beasts of the endless sea are a team. All the benefits are split equally between humans and beasts, and then you can decide how you want to split it. How fair is this? Uncle Long explained, feeling wronged. But we can't split it like this. The head of the Yao family suddenly raised his voice, his face red as he growled. Chapter 1806, Hatred 3. Why can't we split it like this? You're humans and we're beasts, so there'll be conflicts if we mix them together. So, it's best to split them up. It's decided. You don't have any objections, right? Uncle Long's eyes were wide open as he stared at the people in the hall. His eyes flashed with hostility and threat from time to time, making no one dare to object easily. At the same time, many people turned their eyes to the heads of the Yao and Ning families. I have no objections, the master of the Ning family said, smiling. When everyone heard this, they didn't dare to make a sound. I have an opinion. The head of the Yao family couldn't take it anymore and stood up from his seat with a whoosh. He roared fuck. He was already being bullied. If he didn't fight back, he wouldn't be able to get anything in the end. Do you have any objections? Uncle Long narrowed his eyes and asked in an unfriendly tone. I object to this distribution method. Your endless sea can't take half of the benefits. Under the pressure of Uncle Long, the head of the Yao family gathered his courage and said, why not? Our endless ocean is also a victim. Moreover, if we really go to the Wen family, we will also have to contribute. In that case, why can't we take half? Haven't you always been able to distinguish between humans and beasts? Then we'll naturally have to go our separate ways. Uncle Long said matter-of-factly, I don't mind giving you some of the benefits, but you can't take half. I can only give you 2 levels at most. The head of the Yao family made up his mind. To be honest, he was distressed to give the endless ocean's beasts 2 levels of benefits. After all, he didn't intend to count them in, but Uncle Long was too terrifying. He was afraid. Therefore, he could only bear the pain and split 2 parts of the benefits, but it was impossible to get more. He would not agree even if he died. We'll do the same. Why can we only get 2 floors? The old dolphin asked with a straight face, and the other beasts of the endless sea all glared at the Yao family head with dissatisfaction, wishing they could stare a few big holes in his body. I also want to know why the beasts of the endless sea can only take 2 layers? Yao family brat, do you really think that we beastie are easy to bully? Since that's the case, I don't mind gathering all the beasts in the endless sea to fight you one-on-one. Do you dare to accept the challenge? Uncle Long's face darkened and he said coldly, Yao family head, we'll fight you one-on-one right now. Do you dare to accept? When the old dolphin heard Uncle Long's words, it immediately perked up and asked with an evil smile. Since it's a challenge, why don't we set a wager? At this moment, Lung Ruoshue said with a faint smile. Good. I have no objections. What do you think, Yao family head? The old dolphin's eyes flashed as he asked the Yao family head with a smile. You want to fight me? The head of the Yao family raised an eyebrow and asked indifferently. Of course. Do you dare to accept the challenge? Let's set a wager. It'll be more interesting this way. The old dolphin said with a smile. What if you lose? The head of the Yao family couldn't help but ask. As long as the one fighting wasn't Uncle Long, he really didn't fear the beasts of the endless ocean. If I lose, the endless ocean will not follow you and get involved in the Wen family's affairs. The old dolphin promised. All right, he said. The head of the Yao family nodded. Initially, he did not want these sea beasts to get involved in the Wen family's affairs. However, he could not reject them too obviously because of Uncle Long. Since they had suggested it, he would naturally go with the flow. Master Yao, if we win, will you be able to withdraw from the Wen family's matter? The old dolphin continued to ask. Sure. If you win, I won't get involved in the Wen family's affairs. The head of the Yao family also promised. He answered very quickly because he was too confident in his own strength. As long as the beasts from the endless sea were not Uncle Long, no one could defeat him. Ha! Yao family head is indeed a straightforward person. The old dolphin said with a smile. Then he turned to Master Ning and said, Master Ning, we want to fight with Master Yao. Please lend us your venue. Come with me. The master of the Ning family nodded. Then he took them to the training ground of the Ning family. When they arrived at the training ground, the old dolphin specially picked a spacious area and waved at Master Yao as if he was greeting a puppy. Yao family head, quickly come. Let's finish this quickly. Let's start. The head of the Yao family suppressed his anger as he walked to the center of the arena and took up a battle formation. The old dolphin nodded, then gave the other sea beasts a look. In an instant, 9 more people jumped up. These 9 people were all divine emperors. However, when the head of the Yao family saw them, he frowned as an ominous feeling rose in his heart. What's the meaning of this? Why did he smell a conspiracy? I'm fighting you. The old dolphin blinked its eyes and looked at the Yao family head as if he was looking at an idiot. Didn't you say you wanted to fight me one-on-one? The head of the Yao family gritted his teeth in anger, and his face darkened. When did I say I'll fight you one-on-one? Am a deity emperor challenging a reverent god one-on-one? Am I out of my mind? The old dolphin said with a look of disdain. You clearly said you wanted to fight me one-on-one. The head of the Yao family was so angry that his entire body was trembling. He pointed at the old dolphin and stuttered. I didn't say that. I said we'll fight you one-on-one. What I mean is, we'll fight together and you'll fight us alone. The old dolphin explained. You're clearly denying it. The head of the Yao family was really angry this time. Looking at the old dolphin's smug look, he really wanted to rush up and bite the old dolphin a few times. One had to know that he had lived for so long and had never been fooled like this before. This old dolphin sure had guts. Did I go back on my word? The old dolphin turned around and asked its companion with an aggrieved expression. No, I didn't. Absolutely not. We're all deity emperors. How could we possibly fight a hierarch one-on-one? If we really wanted to fight him, the one to do so would be Uncle Long. We wouldn't even have a chance. A certain beast immediately echoed. Yao family head, if you want a one-on-one fight, then we'll fight. Otherwise, you'll have to fight them alone. Uncle Long interrupted with a smile. At this moment, the head of the Wen family knew that he had been tricked. His face was red, but his mind was racing. If it was a one-on-one fight, he was not sure if he could defeat Uncle Long. However, if it was a 1-on-10 fight, he was not absolutely sure if he could win. Although the sea beasts would be weaker on land, they were all divine emperors. Even if they were weaker, they were not easy to deal with, especially in their original form. Therefore, he would rather fight 10 human divine emperors than be attacked by a group of them. Besides, he was afraid that these divine emperors would do something bad, so he hesitated. At this moment, the master of the Ning family stood up and looked at the crowd with a serious face. There's no need to compete. I just received news that something has happened to the Wen family. Chapter 1807. Hatred for what? Everyone was shocked. Master Ning, what did you say? The head of the Yao family asked in disbelief. Yao family head, the Wen family has been destroyed. The master of the Ning family repeated. This was great. They didn't need to do anything. The Wen family no longer existed. Who did this? The head of the Yao clan said angrily. A group of men in black. If I'm not wrong, the owner of the secret realm must have sent people to do this. The master of the Ning family guessed. With this matter out, the head of the Yao family was no longer in the mood to fight with the old dolphin and the others. Everyone quickly returned to the hall to discuss this matter. At the same time, they had also received news from various families that confirmed this matter. The Wen family has really been destroyed. After the head of the Yao family received the confirmation from his trusted aide, he sat in his chair with a face of disappointment and muttered to himself. He had originally hoped to get a share of the profits from the Wen family to make up for the losses that his family had suffered. Who knew that those men in black would make a move first? Now, they wouldn't get any benefits at all. He was so regretful. If they had known, they would have taken action earlier. Yup. The master of the Ning family replied in a soft voice. Although he didn't like the Wen family very much, they were still one of the 8 great divine domains. For many years, they had been the talk of the divine world. Now, the Wen family had disappeared from the divine world, and the 8 great divine domains had become 7 great divine domains. This made him somewhat unable to adapt, and he couldn't help sighing at the fickleness of things. If the old god of plagues had not become the man in black's hidden chess piece and had not set them up, the Wen family would not have ended up like this. Hence, one should not do things against one's conscience. Otherwise, there would be retribution sooner or later. The Wen family's retribution had come. The victims had yet to take revenge on the Wen family. The Wen family had been destroyed by the old god of plagues master. If the old god of plagues knew about this, would he regret it? As far as he knew, other than the old god of plagues, no one in the Wen family was spared. Even the main city where the Wen family was located was slaughtered, and blood flowed like a river. If it were not for the vigilance of the Ning family's spies, they would have been caught in the crossfire this time. Now that such a thing had happened, the divine realm would not be at peace. The Ning family's master was like a god. As soon as the Wen family's matter came out, it spread throughout the entire divine world in just a few days. For a time, the people of the divine world were in a state of panic and unrest. Ice City was a very unremarkable small city in the northernmost part of the divine realm. This city was finally covered in snow. The weather was cold and the ground was frozen. It was famous for its cold in the divine realm. Although a sparrow was small, it had all the essentials. Although the Ice City wasn't big and was owned by a small family, there were many shops in the city. However, there were very few people in the city, so the business wasn't very good. There was only one inn in the Ice City. In a guest room on the second floor of the inn, there was an old man. This old man had an ordinary appearance, white hair, and a face full of vicissitudes. His strength was not high either, only at the god realm. At this moment, his body was emitting a cold aura, and his ordinary face was full of pain. The Wen family that I've worked so hard to build is gone just like that. I hate it. The old man muttered to himself in pain, his eyes glistening with tears. His face was ruthless and dark. This person was none other than the Wen family head who had escaped from the secret realm. After leaving the secret realm, Master Wen had been hiding from the men in black. At the same time, he had to guard against Master Ning and the others' pursuit of him. However, to his surprise, Master Ning and the others did not make any moves. On the contrary, it was his lord's men who kept chasing him. As a hidden chess piece of his lord, he was very clear about his lord's ruthlessness. Since he had failed this mission, his lord would definitely not let him off. Therefore, he could only hide everywhere like a stray dog. He didn't dare to contact the Wen family, not even through telepathy, because the mark left on him by his lord would expose his every move. At that time, his lord would definitely use the Wen family to threaten him, so pretending that he didn't care was the best way. However, he didn't expect that his lord would still make a move on the Wen family. Originally, he had thought that his lord would not act rashly as the Wen family was one of the 8 great divine regions. Based on his understanding of Master Ning and the others, they would not casually touch the Wen family's people before killing him. He had thought that he had considered everything very thoroughly, but things were still out of his control. His lord had only acted against the Wen family because of a single mistake on his part. He was afraid that his lord would find out where he was, so he endured the pain and removed the mark. This way, he would anger his lord and bring a fatal disaster to the Wen family. However, if he could do it all over again, he would still do the same. The Wen family was important, but without him, where would the Wen family have come from? Although Master Wen's heart ached for the Wen family's destruction, he cared more about his own life. However, he had to avenge the Wen family's destruction. Furthermore, he had placed this grudge on Lung Ruoxue and the others. If it wasn't for that wretched girl, how could he have been discovered as a hidden chess piece? If it wasn't for that wretched girl, why would he be hiding like a stray dog? If it wasn't for that wretched girl, he wouldn't have been treated as a traitor by his lord and the Wen family wouldn't have been destroyed. All of these things were related to that wretched girl. At this moment, his hatred for Lung Ruoxue was overflowing. If he had the chance, he would definitely eat her flesh, gnaw her bones, and suck her blood. He wanted to make that wretched girl regret being alive in this world. Chapter 1808. The Advanced Elite Gathering 1. The Wen family's head, who was hiding in the Ice City, hated Lung Ruoxue to the core. The mysterious woman in a certain palace also hated Lung Ruoxue. Is your information accurate? The red-robed lady on the throne raised her beautiful eyes slightly as she released a frighteningly cold aura and coldly asked the black-robed man in front of her. My lord, the information is absolutely accurate. I've also confirmed from Black One that the monsters in our secret realm were also exterminated by a woman surnamed Lung. Her life flame seems to be very extraordinary. The black-robed man's heart trembled as he reported. Recently, his lord had been moody. Every subordinate who came to report to his lord was frightened. They were afraid that they would say something wrong and offend his lord. Therefore, they had been very careful. Lung? Which family does she belong to? The woman in red frowned and asked indifferently after hearing what the man in black had said. According to what I know, that woman's name is Lung Ruoxue, and she has a close relationship with Master Ning. This time, she was the one who entered the secret realm and ruined our plan. Master's clone was also destroyed by her natal flame. The man in black didn't dare to hide anything and answered truthfully. Lung Ruoxue? When the woman in red heard this name, her beautiful face darkened and she stood up from the throne. At the same time, she heard a loud bang and the throne behind her shattered into dust. Seeing this, the man in black quickly lowered his head even more and didn't even dare to breathe loudly, for fear that his lord would vent his anger on him. Give me a detailed report on her. The red-robed woman gritted her teeth. Master, I only found out that Lung Ruoxue ascended from the lower realm. She's a deity and has been staying in the godly mainland. She only came to the godly realm in the past year. However, I don't know what she did to make the master of the Ning family admire her. She even has a good relationship with the Qing family and the Yin family. The chief elder of the Blacksmiths Association also takes good care of her. The man in black said timidly, "Only this much information?" When the red-clothed woman heard the black-clothed man's report, she was clearly not satisfied. Her beautiful face immediately sank, causing the black-clothed man's face to instantly turn pale. His body trembled slightly like a fallen leaf in the autumn wind. Master, Lung Ruoxue hasn't been in the firmament for long. Furthermore, she keeps a low profile and rarely appears in public. Hence, it won't be easy to find out more about her. The man in black explained in a low voice. A bunch of trash. The red-robed woman's beautiful eyes flashed with a ruthless killing intent, but she quickly hid it. If it wasn't for the lack of manpower, she would have turned all these waste into fertilizer. Master, please calm your anger. The man in black felt the woman's displeasure. His face turned pale and fear flashed in his eyes. He quickly knelt down and begged for mercy. Useless thing. Immediately bring some men to monitor that Lung Ruoxue. Report to me every single move she makes. The red-robed woman pondered for a moment before instructing. Yes. My lord, are you going to let Lung Ruoxue live freely? The man in black asked. If you don't let her live, do you still want to go to the Ning family's divine realm to kill? The red-robed lady growled in a low voice. She had heard from her subordinates that Lung Ruoxue was staying at the Ning family's main residence. She knew that now was not the best time to deal with Lung Ruoxue. After all, she had just ordered her men to destroy the Wen family, which had caused quite a commotion in the divinity. If she were to make a move on the Ning family now, the divinity would be in chaos. She really wanted to kill Lung Ruoxue to take revenge for the destruction of her clone. However, the peace of the god world was equally important to her. Hence, she could only suppress the hatred in her heart and allow Lung Ruoxue to live a few more days. Destroying Lung Ruoxue's clone was equivalent to destroying 1/3 of her cultivation base. Furthermore, that cultivation base could not be recovered in just a few years' time. So, how could she not hate Lung Ruoxue? Unfortunately, now was not the time for her to do as she pleased. She had planned for so long and finally had today's status with great difficulty. Therefore, she absolutely would not allow her hard work to be destroyed in one day. As for the cultivation that she had lost, she would get it back double on those people. There was also that Lung Ruoxue. When she had the chance to take revenge, she would definitely make that woman who dared to go against her suffer a fate worse than death. As long as Master orders it, this subordinate is willing to go through fire and water for Master. The man in black said loyally. All right, I know you're loyal, but the god world can't be in chaos now, and the Ning family can't be touched. As for Lung Ruoxue, as long as she doesn't leave the Ning family's god territory, you have to keep a close eye on her and report to me her every move. The woman in red warned. This subordinate will do as you command. The man in black replied. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue still didn't know that she had been targeted by two vicious wolves. She continued to live her life in her own way. Ever since the Wen family's incident and Master Yao's departure, the Ning family had temporarily regained their peace. Furthermore, no one from the Ning family dared to cause Lung Ruoxue any trouble. Lung Ruoxue would spend every day drinking tea, playing chess with her godfather, Uncle Long, or refining pills in the purple bamboo house. Her days were very carefree. However, these relaxed days did not last long. Lung Ruoxue and the others received a piece of news. In the various great clans of the divine world, there were people whose whereabouts were unknown one after another. Furthermore, after those people disappeared for a few days, none of them were spared. Following that, more and more rumors started to spread in the immortal realm. However, most of them were about who had offended who. When such rumors spread together, the main characters of the rumors would mysteriously disappear after a few days. Even if they were strictly guarded, they could not avoid their disappearance. However, most of the missing people were branch family members or sons of concubines, so they didn't attract much attention from the family. Many people even thought that this must be revenge from an enemy. In the divine realm, the strong were respected. Thus, this kind of revenge was nothing at all. Basically, all the great clans would encounter it. Thus, many clans did not take it seriously. If one's strength was not enough, and he had caused trouble and provoked an enemy, even if he was killed, he could only blame himself and not others. This was basically the consensus of all the major families. However, this consensus only applied to collateral relatives or sons of concubines. If the main family encountered such a situation, the family was bound to step in. After all, this was related to the face of the family. Originally, Lung Ruoxue didn't pay much attention to this kind of news. After all, those who died had nothing to do with her. Moreover, the divine realm wasn't peaceful to begin with, so it didn't matter if a few people died. However, what piqued her interest was that people from the 7 great divine domains, including the Ning, Yin, Cheng, and Yao families, had actually died. This couldn't help but pique her interest. In the bracelet, Lung Ruoxue laid on the deck chair, deep in thought. Chapter 1809, The Advanced Elite Gathering 2. The demon peeled a grape and brought it to Lung Ruoxue's lips. He smiled and said, "Shuer, what are you thinking about?" "I'm just thinking why the divine realm is so chaotic. Every day, someone gets into an accident." Lung Ruoxue said softly as she ate the grape that the demon brought to her mouth. "Ha! If it was safe and sound, it wouldn't be called the divine realm." The demon's lips curled into a charming smile as he spoke indifferently. "But don't you think that this is too sudden? Although it's said that there'll be conflicts where there are people, almost all the great clans in the divine realm are not spared. This can't help but raise suspicions." Lung Ruoxue said with a frown. She had heard from the second elder yesterday that one of the Ning family's collateral relatives had also died. "Shuer, since we're already here, well, take things as they come. This is what you always say. We're living in the Ning family's main residence right now, and we don't know what's going on outside, so don't let your thoughts run wild." The demon smiled and comforted her. A ray of light flashed across his dark eyes, but it quickly disappeared. "I do want to take a look outside, but my godfather won't allow it." Lung Ruoxue said gloomily. "That old man did it for your own good. He was afraid that someone would leak your information. You'll be relatively safe in the Ning family's divine realm." The evildoer said honestly. Although Master Yao and the others had sworn not to reveal anything about Shuer before they left the secret realm, there was no such thing as an absolute secret. If Shuer's news was found out by the master of the group of men in black, she would be in danger, so he stood on Master Ning's side this time. "I know," Lung Ruoxue was listless. Actually, how could she not understand her godfather's worries? However, since she had already provoked the Wen family head and those men in black, she naturally did not want to be a coward. Besides, she could not always hide like this, right? "Ha! Then you can stay here obediently. Well, leave after the storm has passed," the demon suggested. In fact, he didn't want to live under someone else's roof, but it was the safest place to live for the time being. At least those who wanted to take advantage of Shuer wouldn't dare to come to their door. "That's the only way," Lung Ruoxue nodded. Life here was still very carefree, but she preferred to go out and experience life outside. Most importantly, she wasn't very familiar with the god world. If it wasn't for her godfather's worry about her safety, she would have gone to travel around the god world long ago. After staying in the bracelet for long enough, Lung Ruoxue brought the evildoer away from the place. Now, she was extremely familiar with the Ning family's main residence. After strolling around the main residence, she and the evildoer went to report to her godfather. When they arrived at Master Ning's residence, Lung Ruoxue saw her godfather drinking with Uncle Long. She pulled the evildoer to sit beside them and pouted her pink lips. "Godfather, your relationship with Uncle Long is getting better and better. Every time I come, I see you two whispering sweet nothings to each other. Damn girl, what's with the lovey-dovey talk? Don't you dare ruin my reputation." The master of the Ning family lightly rapped Lung Ruoxue's head and pretended to be displeased. Girl, you can't slander us. There's nothing between us." Uncle Long quickly said. He knew that this girl had been a little free recently. Feng De and the others had been in seclusion, so she was bored. "I didn't say anything. Why you guys so nervous?" Lung Ruoxue's lips curled into an alluring smile as she spoke with an innocent look. "You're a bad girl. I just didn't let you go out recently. Do you have to make fun of us every time you see us?" The master of the Ning family said, his handsome face full of grievances. In reality, he had grounded Lung Ruoxue mainly to guard against that old pestilence of the Wen family. Now that the Wen family had been destroyed, based on his understanding of the old pestilence, he would definitely not let the matter rest. If he blamed Shuer for the destruction of the Wen family, then his precious Shuer would be in danger. That was why he had forced Lung Ruoxue to stay under his watch. The Ning family had 8 Reverend God-level cultivators and Uncle Long. Not to mention the old god of plagues, even the men in black would have to consider whether they could escape unscathed. Therefore, the Ning family was the safest. "Godfather, I'm bored," Lung Ruoxue said with a bitter face. Her beautiful little face was full of grievances. "Didn't I say that you can play with anyone from the Ning family? But you can't leave the Ning family's main residence." The master of the Ning family wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. He thought that he had given Shuer enough freedom, and with them accompanying her, how could this girl still be bored? "They don't dare to mess with me," Lung Ruoxue complained. "If they didn't come to provoke you, why didn't you provoke them? How about I let Ning Shan'er out and let her play with you?" The master of the Ning family suggested. His words made Lung Ruoxue's face darken. She couldn't help but mutter, "Is Godfather still the old ancestor of the Ning family?" He actually gave her this kind of idea. If those Ning family people knew, wouldn't they be angry and vomit blood? "Ning family's boy, your elbow has already turned to the endless ocean, right?" Uncle Long laughed and joked. That's right." The master of the Ning family was not ashamed of it. On the contrary, he was proud of it. Lung Ruoxue couldn't bear to see the arrogance on his face. "Godfather, let's keep a low profile." Lung Ruoxue was a little embarrassed. Her godfather was indeed biased. "Why do you need to keep a low profile? It's not like it's something shameful," the master of the Ning family said with dissatisfaction. Lung Ruoxue wiped away the cold sweat on her forehead, feeling a little speechless. Sometimes, when her godfather was willful, even she was helpless. "Master, Uncle Long, I have something to report." Suddenly, the second elder rushed in from outside the courtyard and said straightforwardly. "Speak," he said. The master of the Ning family nodded. "Family head, the elite gathering has been brought forward," the second elder said with a dark expression. "In advance." Master Ning was stunned, and his shrewd eyes were full of question marks. Thus, according to the people sent by the Godlord's estate, the Godlord felt that people from the great clans of the divine world had been in trouble one after another recently. He was afraid that the people's hearts would waver, so he brought forward the elite competition to divert everyone's attention and prevent them from panicking. The second elder said honestly. After hearing the second elder's words, Master Ning's face became serious, and no one knew what he was thinking. When Lung Ruoxue heard the words elite gathering, she asked second elder with interest, "Second elder, what elite gathering?" "Little Shuer, the Elite Assembly is a grand event that plays an important role in the divine realm. It's held once every 10,000 years and has been going on for hundreds of thousands of years. At the same time, it's also a grand event to test the true strength of the various great clans. At that time, all the great clans will send out their clans' elites to participate in the assembly. Our 8 families are the most powerful families in the divine realm. However, with the Wen family's misfortune this year, there should be new faces appearing in the 8 great divine regions. The second elder explained. Chapter 1810, The Advanced Elite Gathering, 3. Other than that, the magical beasts will also be participating in the elite competition. They will also choose a new king for the magical beasts. However, for many years, the kings of the magical beasts have always been occupied by the dragon race, phoenix race, white tiger race and Qilin race. I reckon that there will not be any changes this year. After all, the strength of these 4 great magical beast kings among the magical beasts is unquestionable. The second elder continued. Oh, did you just say that the elite gathering was brought forward? Lung Ruoxue asked out of curiosity. Yes. Normally, the actual date of the elite gathering should be 10 years later. However, the Master God has moved the elite gathering to 3 months later. In other words, we still have 3 months to prepare. By then, we will have to send people to the Imperial City. The second elder asked. Little girl, the Imperial City is the main city where the Divine Master lived. The Imperial City was named after the first Divine Master of the Divine Realm. Uncle Long suddenly interjected. An unknown glint flashed across his dark eyes as he looked at Lung Ruoxue with a meaningful gaze. The first Divine Master? Lung Ruoxue was a little surprised. Reverent God-level beings were eternal, but why did it sound like there was more than one Divine Master? In my heart, Master Yu will forever be the Divine Master, and no one can replace him. Uncle Long said sadly, his eyes glistening with tears. Little girl, the current Divine Master of the Divine World is Lord Ye's younger sister. It said that after Lord Yu handed the Divine World over to Lord Wu Cheng, he left the Divine World and his whereabouts are unknown. As for where Lord Yu went, no one knows. The Master of the Ning family added after coming back to his senses. Why did that Master Yu disappear as well? Lung Ruoxue was speechless. He said he went to travel, but how can we know the truth? The Master of the Ning family said helplessly. Speaking of which, he was still grateful for Master Ye's help, but unfortunately, before he could repay the favor, Master Yu had disappeared. Godfather's words made Lung Ruoxue suspicious. From Godfather's words, could it be that he suspected that something had happened to the Lord Yu? However, looking at Godfather and Uncle Long's expressions, they seemed to admire that Master Yu a lot. Therefore, she couldn't ask the suspicion in her heart. Godfather, will the Ning family send people to participate in the elite competition? Lung Ruoxue felt that the atmosphere was a little sad, so she changed the topic. Of course we have to participate. Otherwise, the Ning family's position as one of the 8 great divine regions won't be able to be maintained. The second elder rushed to say. The elite competition was of utmost importance to every clan and magical beast. After all, this was related to the status of the various great clans and magical beasts in the divine realm. Thus, all the great clans and magical beasts would definitely do their best. Looking at Lung Ruoxue's confused expression, second elder explained once more. Didn't I say before that the 8 families in the 8 great divine domains were determined during the elite's meeting? If we don't participate in the elite competition that happens once every 10,000 years, it means that our Ning family has given up our position as one of the 8 great divine domains. Thus, not only must we participate in this elite competition, we must also obtain the first place. This is also a great opportunity to prove the strength of our Ning family, so we can't miss it. Second elder, haven't you heard of the saying, the gun hits the bird that takes the lead? The Ning family's limelight is too great, and it will make people jealous. So I think that it's okay to participate in this elite gathering, but it doesn't necessarily have to be first, right? Wouldn't it be fine as long as they could maintain their position as one of the 8 great divine regions? As for the first place, let whoever wants to fight for it go. It's better for the Ning family to keep a low profile. Lung Ruoxue suggested. How can we do that? If we can't win first place in the elite competition, the Yao family will definitely ride over our heads. The second elder said disapprovingly. I told you to hide your strength, not to let you be bullied. If the Yao family really dares to show off in front of the Ning family, you can just ruthlessly teach them a lesson, and what I mean is that I want you to be the uncrowned king. In this way, even if the Yao family wins first place, they won't live up to their name and the public won't agree with them. At that time, that old man from the Yao family will definitely be depressed to death. Lung Ruoxue laughed evilly. Girl, the Yao old man is famous for taking revenge for every flaw, and he's even more of a villain. If our Ning family gives up this first place, I'm afraid that after old man Yao realizes this, he'll find endless trouble with us. After hearing Lung Ruoxue's words, Master Ning said worriedly. Although he felt that Xue Er's words were quite reasonable, and the Ning family had been number one for too long, the pressure on the family members was great. However, if they gave the position of the top of the 8 great divine regions to the Yao family, he was afraid that the family members would be pestered by the Yao family. That would be troublesome. Godfather, if you continue to be the leader of the 8 great divine domains, won't the Yao family find trouble with you? Lung Ruoxue asked with a smile. All right, I'll listen to you. Lung Ruoxue's words made Master Ning smile. He was really old and he still couldn't see through a little girl's thoughts. The Yao family had been jealous of the Ning family's status for a long time. For so many years, although the two families had occasionally cooperated, most of them were hostile. In that case, why should he care about this trouble? Master, the second elder was stunned by his patriarch's decision. He didn't know what to say. The master was too obedient to the little girl. Although he was a little afraid of the girl, this was a big matter for the entire Ning family. How could the master be so childish? He felt a little indignant, but even more so, he was jealous. Second elder, it's a time of trouble. We have to keep a low profile. We can't reveal our strength easily, or we'll be in even more trouble. Looking at second elder's expression, Lung Ruoxue knew that he did not want the Ning family to hide their strength and act in a low-profile manner. However, this was the only way to confuse the enemy, so she had no choice but to use this plan. Xue Er is right, second brother. You have to learn more from that little girl Xue. Keeping a low profile and pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger is the right way to go. The master of the Ning family said happily. She called him second again. The second elder wanted to cry but had no tears. Wasn't playing the pig to eat the tiger what that girl was best at? Now, he had dragged the Ning family into the water, alright. He would have a taste of playing the pig to eat the tiger. After all, he had never done such a black-bellied thing. Now that he thought about it, compared to that girl, he was really too naive. After persuading the second elder, Master Ning ordered the second elder to pass on his intentions and to appease the dissatisfied elders in the clan. Moreover, he had to put in more effort in choosing the members to participate in the elite meeting. He had to preserve his strength, but he could not show weakness. Master Ning's request made the second elder's hair turn white. There was no age limit in the elite competition, and there were 5 groups in terms of cultivation base. Those below Reverend God level had to compete, and each family could send 5 representatives from each group. There was a new requirement this year, which was that the team must be led by the family head. As for the Ning family's selection of participants, they used the method of self-registration and unified selection. When the final list of participants came out, the Ning family was a little dumbfounded. Chapter 1811, The Advanced Elite Gathering 4. Looking at the announced list of participants in the elite gathering, the Ning family couldn't help but discuss. Why is the name list like this? The young master didn't get selected. Up. The young master is our Ning family's most dazzling genius. How can he not go? Damn, there's actually this idiot, handsome Ning. How did he choose this person? It's so unfair. It's the second elder who chose the candidates. Let's go and ask him. Someone took the lead and said, As soon as he said this, the suspicious and dissatisfied Ning family members all spontaneously went to find the second elder to ask for the reason. The second elder, who had long been prepared, directly said to the Ning family members who had come to question him, "This is the patriarch's will. If you have any dissatisfaction, go ask the patriarch." When everyone heard that, they immediately ceased all activities. Ask the master? How could they have the guts to do that? He dared to ask the second elder because the Ning family had a rule that if a clansman had questions, they could directly ask the person involved. The reason why the Ning family had set this rule was that they were afraid that people would make wild guesses and cause the clansmen to be uneasy. Now that the second elder had clearly told them that this was the master's intention, they naturally had nothing to say. There was less than a month left until the elite competition. During this time, Feng De and the others had also finished their closed-door cultivation and all became God-tier masters. After hearing about the elite competition, they were all eager to try. At Leng Ruoxia's residence, "Miss, can we participate in the elite competition?" Feng De couldn't help but ask, his eyes sparkling with anticipation. "You guys want to participate too?" Leng Ruoxia was a little surprised. She didn't know when they would come out of seclusion, so she didn't ask her godfather about it. Furthermore, she didn't expect Feng De and the others to be interested in the elite gathering. "Yes, we just want to see the difference in strength between us and the other God-tier masters." Feng De was very honest. But the elite competition only allows 5 people to participate in each group. It's impossible for all of you to have the chance to participate. Leng Ruoxia was in a difficult position. Her subordinates were all warlike, and choosing the right people was a huge problem. "It doesn't matter. 5 of us will be enough to see the difference between us and the people of the divine realm," Feng De said with a proud smile. "In fact, you can also go and compete with the Ning family." Leng Ruoxia reminded, Of course, we won't let the Ning family go, but we also want to have a good fight with the other families. More importantly, I heard that we can use all means at the elite competition, so we can also fight without restraint. Moreover, the opponent's family can't hold us responsible if we hit them hard," Feng De said with a smirk. This was what made him the most satisfied. That was a real battle. "Since you guys want to participate, you'll go ask Godfather how to sign up." After hearing Feng De's words, Leng Ruoxia wiped the cold sweat off her forehead. She could tell that Feng De and the rest wanted to participate in the elite gathering because they wanted to use all means possible. They seemed to be getting more and more violent. Yes, yes. Feng De and the rest nodded their heads and watched Leng Ruoxia's back view. However, when Leng Ruoxia told her godfather about Feng De and the rest's plan, her godfather told her regretfully that Feng De and the rest would not be able to participate in the elite gathering. Why? Leng Ruoxia was confused. "Swear, this elite competition is based on family clans. Therefore, everyone who wants to participate must have a family clan, no matter big or small." The master of the Ning family explained. At first, he had wanted Leng Ruoxia to represent the Ning family in the competition, but he was afraid that Leng Ruoxia would be in danger. Therefore, after thinking for a long time, he felt that it was safest to bring Leng Ruoxia with him where he could see her. Thus, he changed his mind and did not mention the competition to her. However, now that Shuer had taken the initiative to bring it up, he had no choice but to reconsider. "Shuer, if Feng De and the others want to participate, then let them represent the Ning family. It'll give them the spots in the God-tier division." After thinking for a while, Master Ning said, "Godfather, how could that be? The Ning family's participants have all been selected. If Feng De were to replace them, I'm afraid the Ning family's opinions of me will be even greater." Leng Ruoxia rejected. Due to her relationship with her godfather, those in the Ning family who had a problem with her did not dare to voice their anger. Hence, she was even more aware that she could not cause trouble for her godfather. Why not? I'm the head of the Ning family. If I say it's fine, then it's fine. I'll see who dares to have an opinion. The master of the Ning family said domineeringly, "Godfather, if you really want to do this, then I'll take back what I said before. We won't be participating in the elite gathering." Leng Ruoxia said angrily, her beautiful eyes glistening with tears. Master Ning immediately surrendered. Alright, it's fine if I don't let Feng De and the others replace their spots, right? However, Feng De and the others won't have the chance to participate in the elite gathering this time. The master of the Ning family said with a frown. The elite competition was of utmost importance to every family and every person in the divine realm. Anything could happen in the elite competition. However, whether it was gaining fame and fortune or losing everything, none of them could stop the enthusiasm of the people in the divine realm for the elite competition, because it was indeed a good opportunity to make a name for themselves in one battle. Godfather, didn't you say that the elite gathering is held in units of family? In that case, can't I use the Lung clan's name to participate? Lung Ruoxue asked with a smile. Little girl, it's not that easy. If you can participate in the elite competition under the name of the Lung family, why would I want you to be under the name of the Ning family? The master of the Ning family said, frowning. Chapter 1812, The Land of the Demons, 1. Can't I use the name of the Lung family to attend the elite gathering? Lung Ruoxue asked in surprise. Little girl, any clan that can participate in the elite assembly must have a territory, such as the Craftsman's Guild, Alchemist's Guild, and so on. Although they don't belong to the clan, they all have their own territory. Therefore, these large guilds can also send people to participate in the elite assembly. Not only that, the elite assembly has specially set up a professional competition for them. If you want to participate in the elite assembly in the name of the Lung clan, then the Lung clan must have a piece of territory, even if it's just a small piece, it doesn't matter. However, this territory must be reported to the Divine Master's estate. In addition, territories are also divided into ranks. Having no subordinate city and the size of the subordinate city all determine a family's position in the divine realm. Moreover, you've only been in the divine realm for a short time, and there are wolves in front and tigers behind you. Therefore, I didn't rush you to establish your territory. However, I didn't expect that the grand meeting of the elites would be brought forward. Otherwise, if it were held according to the normal date, you'd also be able to gain a firm foothold in the divine realm by then. What a mistake! I should have prepared a territory for you long ago. After the master of the Ning family finished explaining, he complained to himself. In fact, he had his own selfish reasons for not looking for a territory for Schwer in a hurry a few years ago. He had always hoped that Schwer could stay in the Ning family's divine realm. This way, he could see her whenever he missed her. However, he knew that this was impossible. This little girl was proud and arrogant. How could she be willing to live under someone else's roof? Even though the Ning family members were restrained by him and did not dare to say anything in front of him, it was not easy to restrain the discussion behind his back. As such, it was only a matter of time before Lung Ruoxue found her own territory. However, he had always held on to the hope that he would be lucky. He felt that every day that could be delayed was a day. On top of that, with the Wen family and the Secret Realms incident, he was even less anxious about his territory. Under such circumstances, he would never allow Lung Ruoxue to leave the Ning family's divine territory and live outside by herself. With him around, the old god of plagues might still be a little afraid, and those men in black would not dare to visit easily. However, once Lung Ruoxue left the Ning family's divine territory, these vicious tigers and wolves would definitely find her first. Who asked Lung Ruoxue to be the weakest among them? If he were to split the Ning family's power into two, it would also be a fatal blow to the Ning family. This would give the enemy a chance to take advantage of them. Therefore, it was best for them to live together now. However, the elite gathering had been brought forward at this time. If Lung Ruoxue and the others wanted to participate, they had two choices. One was to be registered under the Ning family's name, and the other was to have their own territory. This little girl had already refused to be under the Ning family's name, and it wasn't easy to own her own territory. He was also worried. He was really in a dilemma. His brows were almost twisted together. If possible, he really wanted to persuade this little girl to give up on this elite gathering. However, The elite gathering only happened once every 10,000 years. This was also the best opportunity to prove the strength of each family. So how could he say this? Godfather, isn't it just a territory? Just find a piece of land with no owner and you'll do. Lung Ruoxue looked at the regretful Master Ning and consoled him with a faint smile. Silly girl, how can the territory be a joke? You don't know how important the first piece of territory is. It's the foundation for you to establish yourself in the divine world in the future. Furthermore, if you want to expand your territory in the future, you must first expand it around the surrounding area of your territory. Simply put, the first piece of territory will be the center of all your territory in the future. If you want to build a city, that piece of territory will be your main city. Therefore, the people in the divine world are extremely cautious when choosing their family's territory. Therefore, if you want to choose, you must choose a territory that has potential development in the future. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to develop in the future. The master of the Ning family said with a frown. Shuai was his most beloved junior, and he could not let this little girl make such a low-level mistake. It would have been fine if there was no one to guide her, but now that he was here, how could he allow Lung Ruoxue to randomly get a territory to deal with it first? However, he knew very well that if he gave a piece of the Ning family's divine territory to this little girl, she would definitely not agree. After all, he had mentioned this idea to Shuai before, but she had rejected it. Now that he thought about it, this girl was really stubborn. But it was also because of this that he loved her even more, wasn't it? Sometimes Lung Ruoxue, this little girl, really made him both love and hate her. As Master Ning thought about this, he looked at Lung Ruoxue with more and more resentment. As he looked at her, his eyes started to water up, making Lung Ruoxue's heart beat faster. Godfather, you should believe in my ability. Even if the first territory isn't that great, I'm confident I can develop it. Lung Ruoxue lowered her head and said softly, Boo, Godfather is acting pitiful again. I don't dare to look at him in this state. I'm afraid that Hell signed some unfair contract again. These people know that I'm a mess of soft-heartedness towards my own people. Therefore, they often use this method to force me to commit it. Boo. In the end, I'm the most pitiful person. Little Shuai, can you bear to let your godfather worry about you? My daughter has such great potential, how can she choose a territory like this? The territory is really important. If you don't believe me, you can ask Uncle Long. Master Ning saw that he couldn't convince the stubborn Lung Ruoxue, so he threw the ball to Uncle Long. He kept winking at him, asking him to help persuade this little girl. Seeing this, Uncle Long coughed a few times before he said calmly, Little girl. The Ning kid's words do make some sense. The territory does need to be careful, but Uncle Long believes that with your ability, even if you find a piece of barren land, you can still develop the territory. So, Uncle Long supports you to find a piece of land to use first. We'll talk about it when you're strong enough. There's no rush. Uncle Long's words made the master of the Ning family jump up 3 times in anger. He widened his eyes and glared at Uncle Long. You old thing, I asked you to help me persuade Shuai, but you actually stood on her side. Are you trying to anger me to death? The master of the Ning family was angry, and the consequences were serious. Ning family boy, I'm doing this for the girl's good. After all, I'm going to live with her in the future. Would I hurt her? Everyone wanted to choose a good territory, but after so many years of development in the divine realm, where could one find a top-quality no-man's land? Or do you want Shuai to fight for a land with an owner? One had to know that that would incur the wrath of the masses. Without absolute strength, one should not even think about it. More importantly, the Godlord's estate will definitely interfere if you snatch someone else's territory for no reason. So, the loss outweighs the gain. Uncle Long said with an indifferent smile. Although it was not a big deal to take someone else's territory in the divinity, there must be a good reason for it. Otherwise, the Godlord's estate would be the first to disagree. This was also the main reason why he agreed with Shuai to randomly choose a territory to use first. As for other things, they should not even think about it before they had absolute strength. Chapter 1813, the land of the demons. 2. Actually, the reason why he had enough confidence in Leng Ruoxue was because he understood how amazing her true trump card was. Hence, he believed that no matter where this girl was, her future development would be immeasurable. What he needed to do now was to protect this little seedling with great potential. He couldn't let anyone destroy her before she had even grown up. At the thought of this, Uncle Long's eyes narrowed, and a trace of hostility flashed in the depths of his eyes. No matter who it was, if they wanted to find trouble with Leng Ruoxue, they would have to get past him. Otherwise, they would only be met with death. But the master of the Ning family opened his mouth and wanted to continue to persuade him. However, after seeing the determined look in Uncle Long and Leng Ruoxue's eyes, he gave up on this idea. Shuai was already stubborn enough, and now that she had Uncle Long's support, his words were naturally ignored. They actually ganged up to bully her. Master Ning felt so wrong that he even started to sob. The tears in his eyes were still spinning, and Leng Ruoxue's forehead was full of black lines when she saw this. Did Godfather have to be so exaggerated? Those who didn't know would think that she had bullied him. In fact, she just didn't listen to her godfather's advice and just wanted to randomly choose a territory to use first. This wasn't an unforgivable crime, was it? Little girl, if you want to choose a territory, why don't you choose somewhere near the endless sea? It's large enough and there are many uninhabited lands, so it's a good choice to be a territory. Uncle Long glanced at the depressed master of the Ning family and continued to suggest. After he finished speaking, he took out a map and placed it on the table. He pointed it out to Leng Ruoxue. This place, and this place are all uninhabited. It's just a little desolate. If you want to make it your territory, it'll take a lot of work. As soon as Uncle Long finished speaking, the depressed master of the Ning family flew into a rage. You old whale, you actually tried to steal my girl. I was wondering why you would agree to Shuai randomly choosing a territory. So this was what you were planning. Shuai is my goddaughter. No matter how desolate the territory she chooses is, it must be near the Ning family's divine realm. As for the endless sea, don't even think about it. After Master Ning finished shouting, he stared at Leng Ruoxue with a face full of hidden bitterness. His eyes were red as if he was saying, "Do as you see fit." Then, he pursed his lips arrogantly and pointed at an ownerless land on the map. There's no one here, so it's not a bad choice. How can we do that? That place is so small. Uncle Long objected firmly. Why not? The terrain here is not bad, and the area is enough for little Shuai and the others to live in. It's decided little Shuai's territory will be here. The master of the Ning family did not even ask for Leng Ruoxue's opinion before he made the final decision. Actually, the main reason was that it was just near the Ning family's divine realm. Since he couldn't convince Shuai, he had to choose a territory close to his precious goddaughter. That way, they could look out for each other, hee. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that his idea was great. Although that place was indeed a little small, it did not matter. After Shuai had settled on that place, he would make the decision to give Shuai the few cities closest to the Ning clan's divine territory. That way, it would not be easy for Leng Ruoxue to reject him. As he thought about it, he could not hide the smile on his face. However, Uncle Long would not let Master Ning have his way. Ning family's boy, don't think that I don't know what you're planning. You chose that place because it's close to your Ning family's divine realm. Uncle Long said with a look of disdain. The area there is small, and there are many people coming and going. It's inconvenient to live there. It was better to be near the endless sea. Not only were there many ownerless lands, but no one would also disturb him. So, he would choose a territory around the endless sea. It's decided then. Uncle Long continued. No, we can only choose this place. The master of the Ning family pointed at the place he had his eyes on and objected. He wasn't afraid of others seeing through his selfishness. So what if he had selfish motives? Did that old whale not have any selfish motives? He was very clear that the old whale had a purpose for letting Shuai choose the endless ocean. It was to let Shuai take care of those sea beasts. Shuai had unlimited potential. I object, this place is better. Uncle Long glared at him and roared. This place is good. This place is good. Shuer, choose this place. Girl, choose this place. Uncle Long and the master of the Ning family had their own opinions. They stared at each other and shouted at each other, both wanting Shuer to choose the place they wanted. Lung Ruoxue looked at the two old men who were fighting for her territory with red faces and red necks. She could not help but feel speechless. When Uncle Long and the master of the Ning family saw that Lung Ruoxue had no reaction, they both grabbed her arms and asked in unison, Shuer, which one do you choose? The expressions on both of their faces were extremely unfriendly, and their eyes were filled with threats. When Lung Ruoxue saw this, cold sweat started to form on her forehead. She was in a difficult position. No matter if she chose a place that her godfather liked or a place that Uncle Long liked, it was not suitable. Moreover, she would definitely hurt the other person's heart. What should she do? Lung Ruoxue's mind raced as she quickly thought of a solution. Seeing this, Master Ning and Uncle Long didn't disturb her. However, their faces were red with the words "You'd better think it through." This put a lot of pressure on Lung Ruoxue. After a long time, Godfather, Uncle Long, I've decided. I won't choose either of these places. Lung Ruoxue mustered up her courage and said. After she finished speaking, she hid behind the evildoer in fear, seeking protection. However, the master of the Ning family and Uncle Long weren't as angry as they had thought. Instead, they smiled and asked in unison, Then which one do you want to choose? As long as Shuer didn't choose a place that the other party was interested in, they wouldn't have any objections. Or do you not want to think about the territory for the time being? The master of the Ning family asked again. If that was the case, it would be the best. Godfather, Uncle Long, I've decided to choose this place. Lung Ruoxue's slender finger pointed at a location on the map. Master Ning and Uncle Long looked in the direction that Lung Ruoxue was pointing at. Instantly, the two of them looked at each other, their expressions conflicted. Why did Shuer choose that place? That wasn't a good place to be. The place Lung Ruoxue had chosen was right in the middle of the place that Master Ning and Uncle Long had chosen. Furthermore, that place was even more remote than the place they had chosen, and it was also very inconvenient to get there. There, they leaned against a bottomless cliff. On the left was a desolate desert, and on the right was a mountain range. After crossing the mountain range was the endless sea. On the front was the only passage to the outside world, which was connected to a forest and extended in all directions. Chapter 1814, The Land of the Demons, 3. Lung Ruoxue also wanted to choose a location for her territory. It was on a mountain that was so high that it reached the clouds. The mountain was lush and green, and all kinds of vegetation grew luxuriantly. However, that place was also famous in the god world for being a dangerous place. More importantly, it was not suitable for living. Otherwise, it would not have been left untouched for so many years. Shuer, you can't go there. After a long while, the master of the Ning family finally spoke. What's wrong? Lung Ruoxue looked at her godfather in confusion. She thought that place was not bad. Surrounded by mountains, there were mountains and rivers. More importantly, it was not too far from the endless sea and the Ning family's divine realm. She felt that it could not be more ideal. Moreover, she had always liked to choose places like the deep mountains and old forests as her territory. After all, the resources in such a place were unimaginable. Little girl, that place is the second most dangerous place in the divine realm. It's called the Land of Demons by the people of the divine realm. It has many mountains and forests, which are its main characteristics. Not only that, but there are also many magical beast clans living there. Those magical beasts have never been friendly to humans. There were once people who wanted to take over that place, but in the end, not only did they fail, but they also suffered heavy losses and were almost completely annihilated. Do you know why? Uncle Long asked with a serious expression. But could it be that the beasts there can't tolerate them? Lung Ruoxue guessed. Yes, that's right. Beasts have always been unfriendly to humans, and they're the local snakes there. Naturally, they won't allow humans to appear in their territory. So, it's unrealistic for you to treat that place as your territory. Uncle Long said worriedly. If Shuer wanted to choose that place as her territory, had rather Leng Ruoxue choose the place that the Ning family's kid had his eyes on. But, isn't that land without an owner? Since there was no owner, wouldn't anyone be able to take it? As long as you have the strength, even those local tyrants can't do anything to you, right? Leng Ruoxue frowned. Shuer, you don't understand the difference in status between humans and magical beasts in the divine realm. Although the divine rules state that all living beings are equal and there is no racial discrimination, if a human wants to occupy a piece of land as long as it is ownerless, they can file it with the divine lord's estate. In the future, the land will belong to you. However, the magical beasts are different. Unless there is a godly venerable rank magical beast in their own race, they will not live up to their name even if they occupy a piece of land. If we force them to give it up, they'll have to leave their homes. It's under such circumstances that the beast clans around their territories formed an alliance. If a human set his eyes on the territory of a beast clan, then the beasts in the same alliance would treat him as a common enemy and drive him out of their territory. Once the beast clans unite, even human powerhouses can't go against them. As a result, the beast clans' territories are naturally preserved. The main reason why this place is called the Land of Demons is because there are a lot of beasts here, and they are quite united. If humans invade, they will definitely not show mercy, so this is not a suitable place for humans to build their territory. The master of the Ning family explained helplessly. Little girl, the beasts have no choice but to do this. They've been bullied by humans, so they'll never show mercy to humans. Otherwise, they'll be the ones in danger. Uncle Long sighed softly. If it was possible, he really did not want Shuer to go head-to-head with the beasties. After all, he was also one of the beasties. I understand. What if I can subdue them? Leng Ruoxue said with a smile. Little girl Shuer, the divine realm's beasts are different from the lower realm's beasts. They are not that easy to talk to, and they also hate humans quite a bit. Thus, they rarely acknowledge humans as their masters. The master of the Ning family explained worriedly. In the divine realm, almost all the beasts lived in groups. It was very difficult to make a beast recognize a master. If one tried to force it to recognize a master, he would be attacked by the beast's clan. Therefore, the beast tamers in the divine realm only existed in name. Those who were not very powerful families did not dare to force the beast to recognize a master. Otherwise, it would be an undeserved disaster for their own families. I think you can try, girl. Contrary to Master Ning's opinion, Uncle Long was well aware of how many beasts Leng Ruoxue had in her interspace. Most of them were king-level divine beasts. With their help, it would be easier for Shuer to tame the beasts in the Land of Demons. After all, the status of the beast's bloodline was very clear. This difference in status was inborn and could not be made up for later. Previously, he had objected because he had not expected Leng Ruoxue to want to tame those beasts. As such, he did not approve of Shuer choosing that place as her territory. However, after Leng Ruoxue had this idea, he felt that it was a good idea. Furthermore, Leng Ruoxue was a good master that the beasts could entrust their lives to. For the good of the beasts, he naturally had to agree. You think that's an easy thing? For so many years, it was not that no one had ever thought of that, but no one had ever succeeded. Why was that? Wasn't it because the irreconcilable differences between the humans and beasts were too deep? It might be easier to subdue a beastie, but to subdue an entire clan of beastie, do you think you're playing house? This little girl doesn't understand the rules here, but don't tell me you don't? He even added to the chaos. This is preposterous. The master of the Ning family roared at Uncle Long. It's not like this little girl has never taken a clan of beasts. Haven't you seen the silver wolves in her hands? Uncle Long said disapprovingly. Those are collected in the lower realm. Why don't you try collecting a group in the divine realm? It would be a wonder if those silver wolves didn't bite you to death. The master of the Ning family rolled his eyes and said unhappily. The beasts in the lower realm were weak, and their hatred for humans was not that deep. Naturally, they would not think too much, But the beasts in the divine realm were different. The divine realm's beasts were usually born as saint beasts, and those with good aptitudes would also become divine beasts. They were born with high intelligence, and each and every one of them was astute and cunning, not much worse than humans. Were such beasts so easy to get along with? He had lived in the divine realm for so many years, but other than the divine master, he had never heard of anyone who could make the entire beastie race recognize him as their master. Therefore, to him, this was simply a fantasy. How do you know if you don't try? Moreover, there are a few wolf tribes in the land of evil demons. Little girl, you should go and try. Uncle Long suggested. Little girl, if you can really subdue the beasts in the land of demons, even if you can only subdue one, it'll let you make that place your territory. Moreover, if the other beasts dare to find trouble with you, it'll be responsible for bringing people to destroy them. But if you fail, you can only choose a place that Uncle Long and I have chosen as your territory. The master of the Ning family started to talk about his conditions. The reason why he said this was because he did not think highly of Leng Ruoxue. Hence, he was fearless. And his motive was naturally to hope that Leng Ruoxue would give up. Chapter 1815, The Land of the Demons, 4. Godfather, do you mean what you say? Leng Ruoxue raised her brows and confirmed with a faint smile. Of course it counts. However, you only have half a month to subdue them. If you fail, you'll have to give up that place. The master of the Ning family reminded. Half a month is more than enough. Leng Ruoxue said with confidence. Actually, this place was also suggested by the demon, and she trusted his judgment. The forest and mountains had always been her first choice for territory. With this, she wouldn't have to be stuck in a dilemma. Otherwise, no matter which place her godfather or Uncle Long chose, she would only make the others sad. She didn't care how dangerous the land of demons was. After all, when she chose Nightmare Forest as her territory on the godly mainland, it was also very dangerous. But didn't it become her territory in the end? Little girl, do you want to reconsider? The master of the Ning family saw that she had agreed so readily and was a little worried. No need. I've already considered it. Leng Ruoxue was full of confidence. In that case, let's set off tomorrow. The master of the Ning family said unwillingly. He didn't know why, but seeing Shui so confident, he actually felt that his conditions were too simple. It was really too strange. He felt at a loss for what he was thinking. Then he'll go make the preparations. With that, Leng Ruoxue stood up and pulled the evildoer away from Master Ning's residence, in case her godfather went back on his words. The next day, early in the morning, Leng Ruoxue, who was ready, brought the evildoer, Feng De, and the rest to Master Ning's residence. Master Ning saw how excited they were and felt that his conditions were a little too hasty. How could this be? Could he go back on his word now? After Shui left yesterday, he had been feeling uncomfortable, as if he had overlooked something. Now, this feeling was even stronger, and he really couldn't figure it out no matter how much he thought about it. Then he caught a glimpse of Uncle Long's sympathetic gaze. Although the sympathy disappeared very quickly, he still caught it. He was furious. "You old whale, what's with that look? What did I do?" Uncle Long said innocently. The Ning family's kid had called him brother long before. But now, he had actually become the old whale that he was referring to. This was preposterous. What a disrespectful little brat. Why are you looking at me with such a strange expression? The master of the Ning family said angrily. Of course, he couldn't say that Uncle Long was looking at him with sympathy, but Uncle Long's eyes were really hateful. "You're going through menopause, right? Why are you so suspicious? When did I look at you with such a strange expression? Girl, you have to be my judge. How can the Ning family's boy randomly bite people?" Uncle Long looked at Leng Ruoxue pitifully and asked her to seek justice for him. Seeing this, Leng Ruoxue helplessly smiled and changed the topic. "Godfather, Uncle Long, it's getting late. Shouldn't we set off?" "Let's go," the master of the Ning family said fiercely. Moreover, under his strong request, everyone took a disguise pill, and then they left the Ning family's main residence in batches. Although Lung Ruoxue had been grounded by him during this period of time, there were still people from the Ning family entering and leaving the main residence every day. Hence, they would not attract any attention even if they went out in batches. After they left the main city, everyone immediately gathered together and headed straight for the land of demons. On the way, Master Ning spared no effort in trying to persuade Lung Ruoxue to change her mind, but Lung Ruoxue was unmoved and kept changing the topic. Godfather, why doesn't anyone want to occupy the Wen family's divine territory? Sitting on the little peacock's back, Lung Ruoxue pretended to be curious and tried to find a topic to talk about. There are many families who have their eyes on that place. However, they wouldn't dare to have any ideas about the Wen family's divine realm now. The old god of plagues is still healthy. Isn't devouring the Wen family's divine realm just asking for trouble? Master Ning spoke the truth. After he finished, he glared at Lung Ruoxue. Stupid girl, you're changing the topic again. That's true. Godfather, I'm going to sleep for a while. Wake me up when we reach the demonic land. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. After she finished speaking, she laid her head on the evildoer's lap and went to sleep peacefully. When Master Ning saw this, he couldn't do anything to her. Uncle Long also laughed even more happily. When it was close to noon, Lung Ruoxue and the rest finally arrived at the land of demons. Lung Ruoxue, who had been awoken, looked at the huge trees at the entrance of the land of demons. Her mood was exceptionally good. The so-called land of the demons did not refer to just one place. It referred to the continuous mountains in front of them and the vast, uninhabited desert to the left of the forest. Therefore, the land of the demons was very vast. As for the forest in front of them, it was naturally called the demon forest. The territory that she had chosen was hidden behind this demon forest. With this forest as a barrier, even if the enemy wanted to attack, it would not be an easy task. After seeing the terrain here, she was even more satisfied. She had to take down this place. Not only were there mountains and rivers, but the resources here were also exceptionally abundant. It was definitely the perfect place to train. However, what surprised Lung Ruoxue was that there were not many people at the entrance of the forest. Godfather, are there any other entrances to this forest? Lung Ruoxue asked curiously. Girl, this is the only entrance to the demon forest, and it's also the safest way. The evil demon forest had a long history in the divine realm, and the reason why it was called the land of evil demons was not an undeserved reputation. Other than the huge number of beasts here, this place was also a natural maze. Therefore, if one wanted to enter the evil demon forest, one had to take this path. Otherwise, one would only get lost in the forest, or even be trapped in the forest forever. But it seems like we can still enter the demon forest through those giant trees, right? Lung Ruoxue raised her head and looked into the distance. Even though the trees in this forest were huge and tall, there was still a certain distance between the trees. To her, this distance was enough for someone to pass by. Girl, you can't walk there. This demon forest is a natural maze. If you don't enter from this path, you'll definitely get lost. At that time, let alone entering the forest, you won't even be able to get out. Uncle Long explained with a smile. I see. Lung Ruoxue nodded. Uncle Long's words made her feel more at ease. Following that, she couldn't help but urge, let's go in quickly. Ha! Girl, what's the rush? No one's snatching it from you. Uncle Long laughed and teased. Time is tight. Godfather only gave me half a month's time, and it's already been half a day. Lung Ruoxue pouted her pink lips as her beautiful eyes stared at her godfather with hidden bitterness. Seeing Lung Ruoxue's gaze, Master Ning really wanted to say, "I'll regret giving you half a month's time." He regretted it. He regretted making such a condition. Who asked him to be so uneasy? However, it was too late to regret now. Schwer would definitely not agree. Hence, he could only hope that Schwer would not succeed. Chapter 1816, The Devil's Land 5. But was that possible? Looking at the confidence on Lung Ruoxue's face, he felt even more uncertain. Godfather, Uncle Long, I'll go in first. Lung Ruoxue could tell what her godfather was thinking. She pulled the evildoer and ran into the evil demon forest. Feng De and the rest followed closely behind. Seeing this, Uncle Long grabbed Master Ning's arm and walked in, comforting him as he walked. Ning family's boy, be happy. What's the point of thinking about all that now? If Shuer can really subdue the beasts here, then this place is a good choice. He was very open-minded. Not bad, my ass. It's not like you don't know how dangerous this place is. The master of the Ning family gritted his teeth. He really wanted to bite Uncle Long. Danger and opportunity coexist. Have some spirit of adventure. Uncle Long said with a smile. You, Master Ning's eyes widened in anger. Uncle Long smiled helplessly. I can understand how you feel, but you have to know that this little girl doesn't like you being so naggy. She's not an ordinary person. You can't always protect her under your wings. Of course I know that. I'm just not happy that she's treating this place as her territory. The master of the Ning family said in a low voice. What can I do if I'm not satisfied? Words that have been said are like water that has been spilled. Don't tell me you want to renege on your words? Uncle Long teased with a smile. Of course you can't go back on your word, but if Shuer is unable to subdue the beasts here, you can't speak up for her. The master of the Ning family warned. Don't worry, I won't help anyone. Is that okay? Uncle Long promised. Master Ning nodded in satisfaction. Then, the two of them quickly followed Lung Ruoxue's group. Godfather, what are you and Uncle Long doing? Why are you so slow? Lung Ruoxue looked at the two people who had followed behind her and asked with a suspicious look. Let's take a look at the scenery here. Master Ning said perfunctorily. What's there to see here? Are there only trees? Feng De heard Master Ning's words and said in a puzzled manner. In his opinion, these two old men were obviously up to something. We just like to look at trees, can't we? Master Ning's eyes were wide open as he roared in anger. All right, you can watch whatever you like. I have no objections. Feng De shrunk his neck and said fearfully, Ooh, I didn't say anything. Why was she angry at him? He felt so wronged. Miss, there are so few people here. The depressed Feng De turned around and ran to Lung Ruoxue's side, changing the topic. Of course there aren't many people here. This is the second most dangerous place in the immortal realm. Do you think that everyone likes to come here? Hearing Feng De's words, the master of the Ning family rolled his eyes and roared. Oh! Feng De responded softly and looked at his young lady with a face full of resentment. He didn't ask this old man. Why was this old man acting as if he had choked on medicine? He really didn't know who had provoked him and made him the scapegoat. Godfather, are we going to look for the beasts now? Lung Ruoxue was well aware of why her godfather was so angry. However, once she had decided on something, she wouldn't change her mind so easily. Furthermore, she was confident that she could subdue the beasts here. As long as she could subdue a group of beasts, her godfather would have no reason to object to her making this place her territory. Why are we looking for a herd now? I'm tired after flying for so long. Let's find a place to rest. The master of the Ning family didn't even think about it and directly asked to rest. All right then. Lung Ruoxue was helpless. Following that, the group found an empty space. Lung Ruoxue took out her house and placed it on the empty space. Then she started to prepare lunch. After lunch, the master of the Ning family said he wanted to take a nap and then returned to his room. When Lung Ruoxue saw this, she knew that she might not be able to continue going deeper into the forest today. She pulled the demon along and left the house quietly. Walking in the forest and breathing in the fresh air of the forest, the two were in a good mood. As they walked, the two of them went deeper and deeper into the forest. Lung Ruoxue also discovered many medicinal herbs along the way. The two of them picked them as they walked and, unknowingly, the sky had darkened. Lung Ruoxue and the demon found a clean place to sit down. After starting a fire, Lung Ruoxue took out a pot from her bracelet. She also took out some uncooked rice and a piece of fish, planning to cook some fish porridge. Not long after, the fragrance of the rice and the deliciousness of the fish wafted out from the pot. Lung Ruoxue scooped out 2 bowls. The 2 of them had just taken a few bites when they heard a rustling sound coming from the grass not far away. They looked at each other, then stood up and walked towards the grass with suspicious looks on their faces. The demon pushed aside the grass and did not find anything suspicious. However, when the 2 of them turned back to the fire, they found that the porridge they had cooked was gone. Damn it, someone stole our kanji. The demon was a little angry. They had only eaten a few mouthfuls of the porridge, but now, the pot and the bowl had been stolen. It's okay, let's eat something good. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Then, she took out a pile of food from her bracelet and started to cook again. A moment later, the food was ready. The food prepared this time was mainly stir-fried, and it looked, smelled, and tasted great. In addition, some meat and fish were roasted, filling up the entire table. Chapter 1817, Shameful Behavior, 1. The demon's eyes sparkled when he saw the table full of food. He picked up a grilled fish impatiently and was about to eat it. However, a red light suddenly flashed and the fish in his hand disappeared. Seeing this, Lung Ruoxue picked up a fish as well. With a flash of red light, the fish in her hand was also snatched away. The speed of the red light was extremely fast. Lung Ruoxue could only tell that it was a beastie, but she could not make out what kind of beastie it was. She exchanged glances with the demon and the 2 of them continued to pick up their food silently. However, the moment they picked up their food, it was immediately snatched away by the mysterious little beast. Upon seeing this, Lung Ruoxue gave the demon a look. The demon understood and picked up another piece of meat to eat. The red light arrived as expected. Lung Ruoxue acted swiftly and in the blink of an eye, a small beast that was entirely red in color was caught firmly in her hands. This little beast was a red little wolf. It was only the size of a palm, and its fluffy fiery red fur had no impurities. It had a pair of sparkling black eyes, and at this moment, it was timidly peeking at Lung Ruoxue. Little wolf, don't you know that stealing is a very shameful act? Lung Ruoxue glanced at the little red wolf in her hand and asked indifferently. I'm hungry. The little red wolf said pitifully. Its black grape-like eyes were filled with moisture. It was as if it would start a heavy downpour if Lung Ruoxue continued to scold it. You can't steal when you're hungry. Lung Ruoxue said with a look of disapproval. The red wolf pouted and couldn't speak. Next time, you're not allowed to steal things, understand? Lung Ruoxue looked at the little red wolf's aggrieved expression and smiled helplessly. Her hand could not help but stroke the little red wolf's soft fur. It felt good. My father said that humans are all bad guys and we can steal their things. The little red wolf said in a low voice after a long silence. When Lung Ruoxue heard the little red wolf's words, she was a little dumbfounded. It seemed like this little wolf's family didn't have a good impression of humans. However, instigating a child to steal was always immoral. This would also lead the child astray. Therefore, Lung Ruoxue was extremely disapproving of this. Little fellow, although there are bad people among humans, there are also good people. Big sister is a good person. If you're hungry, tell big sister and he'll be happy to share some food with you. But stealing is not right. Lung Ruoxue said earnestly, trying to guide this little wolf who had strayed off the right path. However, the wolf cub obviously did not appreciate it. Instead, it pouted its little mouth proudly and said with a face full of doubt, My mother also said that humans who claim to be good people are actually not good people. When Lung Ruoxue heard what the wolf cub had to say, she could not help but wipe the cold sweat off her forehead. She thought to herself, what kind of wolves are the parents of this wolf cub? How could he teach a child such a bad thing? In fact, what she didn't know was that this wolf cub was simple by nature, and its parents were very afraid that it would be deceived by humans' sweet words. Therefore, they always spoke ill of human beings. After a long time of influence, it was impossible for the wolf cub to think that human beings were good. Hence, even though Lung Ruoxue kept saying that she was a good person, the innocent little wolf still didn't really believe her. Furthermore, it raised its guard, its black grape-like eyes carefully staring at her, afraid that the woman who had captured it would harm it. Looking at the depressed Lung Ruoxue, then at the alert little red wolf, the demon smiled and asked, "Little wolf, where are your parents? Can you let us see them?" "See them? What are you guys doing?" The little red wolf asked nervously and even bared its teeth on purpose, trying to intimidate the demon so that he wouldn't have any bad intentions. At this moment, Lung Ruoxue and the evildoer were the most heinous criminals in the eyes of the little red wolf. Not only did they capture it, but they also wanted to see their parents. There was really nothing good about humans. Not only did they capture it, but they also wanted to settle the score with their parents. How despicable! The red wolf was filled with resentment, but it was a pity that it was weak and alone. It couldn't do anything to these two humans. The more it thought about it, the more aggrieved it became. Crystal-clear tears involuntarily rolled down from its bright black eyes. It looked extremely pitiful. Seeing that the little wolf was going to reign just like that, Lung Ruoxue and the demon were extremely helpless. They didn't seem to have done anything, okay? Why did this little fellow suddenly start crying? Who has the guts to bully my son? Suddenly, an earth-shattering roar entered Lung Ruoxue and the demon's ears. The two of them raised their heads in unison and saw a giant red wolf descending from the sky, landing right in front of them. The red wolf was as huge as a small mountain. Its large eyes were like copper bells. After sizing up Lung Ruoxue and the demon for a while, it focused all its attention on the remaining food on the table. Then, a red shadow quickly scuttled to the table and began to gobble up the food without caring about its image. When Lung Ruoxue saw that the huge red wolf, which was the father of the little wolf, had even cast his son aside after seeing the food on the table, she was instantly filled with black lines. He thought that the wolf father would be angry when he saw that his son had been caught by them. Who knew that the thunder was loud but the rain was light? He had forgotten about his son when he had food. What the hell was this? Lung Ruoxue looked at the little red wolf in her hands speechlessly. Her beautiful eyes were filled with sympathy. However, she didn't expect that the little wolf didn't take her father's performance seriously at all. Instead, it was staring at her father with envy, jealousy, and hatred. Its black and bright eyes were filled with dissatisfaction. This pair of foodies. Lung Ruoxue was speechless. She didn't know how to evaluate this father and son pair. Luckily, she didn't have any ill intentions towards them. Otherwise, this father and son pair would have been hers to claim. It was only after the giant red wolf had swept away all the food on the table like a gust of wind sweeping away fallen leaves that he remembered what he had to do. It wiped its mouth, then widened its bell-like black eyes and said fiercely, "Human, hurry up and let my son go. Since you've contributed a delicious meal, I won't argue with you." Seeing the giant red wolf's look of mercy, Lung Ruoxue smiled and said, "But what should we do if we want to argue with you?" "What? Do you know what this place is? You actually dare to argue with me?" The huge red wolf widened its eyes in disbelief. It stared at Lung Ruoxue as if she had said something she should not have. "I know this is the land of the evil demons, but this doesn't have anything to do with us being calculative with you, right?" Lung Ruoxue raised her brows and said calmly, "How can we not have sex? You're eating and drinking on my territory, you're deliberately craving me, and you've even captured my son. How can you have nothing to do with me? You should be secretly happy that I didn't argue with you, but you actually dare to argue with me? How preposterous. You should know that this is the territory of our Fire Wolf clan. You should be well behaved in my territory. Well, you should pay some protection fees. It'll make sure you're free from any obstructions. How about that?" Chapter 1818, Shameful Behavior, 2. The giant red wolf had spoken righteously in the beginning, but towards the end, it actually demanded protection fees from Lung Ruoxue. Lung Ruoxue did not know whether to laugh or cry. This wolf was really out of line. Lung Ruoxue was completely speechless. Seeing that Lung Ruoxue and the demon remained silent for a long time, the giant red wolf became anxious. "You guys should give a reaction. Do you agree or not?" The red wolf asked loudly. "So what if I agree? So what if I don't agree?" Lung Ruoxu's beautiful face was filled with confusion as she asked. If you agree to pay the protection fee, it'll keep you safe as long as you're in the territory of my Fire Wolf clan. Otherwise, don't blame me for not caring if you're dead or alive if you cause any trouble. The giant red wolf said in a seemingly sincere manner. To ensure our safety? This condition is quite tempting. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. So, you guys agree? The giant red wolf's face revealed a look of joy, and its voice sounded a lot more cheerful. We don't have any money. Lung Ruoxu's words were very reserved, and she had an apologetic look on her face. It's fine as long as you make me a table full of food like this every day. The giant red wolf laughed. That smile was as wretched as it could get. Hearing its words, the little wolf was not happy. Father, I also want it. You have to make me a table full of delicious food. The little red wolf roared in anger, afraid that its father would forget its existence once he had good food. That was the truth. No problem. The giant red wolf heard its son's words and nodded as if it was a matter of course. Let her cook 3 tables so that our family of 3 won't have to fight over food. The giant red wolf added. Lung Ruoxue continued to be speechless as she listened to the father and son's arrangements. In her opinion, not only did the father and son act like they were close, but they also seemed to be confused about the situation. Right now, this little wolf was still her prisoner, all right? Why didn't they have any awareness of being a prisoner? It's settled then. You guys will cook 3 tables for us every day. After the giant red wolf finished its discussion with its son, it told Lung Ruoxue again. Lung Ruoxue could not help but roll her eyes. Your son is still in my hands. How do you plan to redeem it? Why do you want to redeem it? This is my territory. If you want to stay here safe and sound, you naturally have to return my son to me, and you can't let him lose a single hair, otherwise I can't protect you. The giant red wolf said matter-of-factly. Why? Lung Ruoxue was astonished. Didn't I make myself clear? How come you still don't understand? The huge red wolf said with some anger. You didn't make yourself clear. You just keep emphasizing that this is your territory, but even if you're the local wolf here, your son stole my things. I can't return them to you so easily, right? With your son in my hands, do you still dare to harm me? Lung Ruoxue chuckled as she spoke. Her words angered the giant red wolf to its core. Damn it. This human was not afraid of it. This fact made it extremely depressed. One must know that it was an 8th-level Saint Divine beast. In the entire evil demon forest, it was also one of the fire wolves with a reputation and status. Even if humans saw it, they would tremble all over. However, this human girl in front of him actually did not take it seriously and even used her son to threaten it. This was really preposterous. If the old wolf didn't show its might, did he really think it was just a decoration? Thinking of this, the giant red wolf was furious. With a loud howl, the giant red wolf pounced towards Lung Ruoxue, wanting to teach this little human girl a lesson. However, before it could get close to Lung Ruoxue, the evildoer beside Lung Ruoxue immediately blocked in front of her and stretched out both his hands to grab onto its front claws. The demon put his hands together and grabbed the 2 front claws of the red wolf. With a whoosh, he threw it out. Suddenly, a red meteor streaked across the pitch-black night sky. Then, the giant red wolf disappeared. After that, the demon clapped his hands and smiled at Lung Ruoxue. Shweo, it's quiet now. I've thrown the old wolf out. Yes. Lung Ruoxue smiled and nodded. She had not expected the evildoer to have such a skill. This was truly out of her expectations. Following that, she spoke to the little red wolf in her arms. Little guy, I don't know where your father has run off to. There's no one to back you up now, right? The little red wolf didn't take Lung Ruoxue's teasing seriously. Instead, it said to Lung Ruoxue in a serious tone, Who said so? My mother has the final say in our family. She's the head of the family. At home, even my father has to listen to my mother. After saying that, the little red wolf howled at the top of its lungs, Mother! Someone is bullying your precious son. At this time, it didn't pretend to be pitiful anymore, because these 2 humans didn't even care about its father, let alone it. therefore it was in a hurry to call for help. As soon as the red wolf cub's howl ended, an angry roar came from the distance. "Who dares to bully my son? You really don't want to live anymore." Following that, Lung Ruoxue and the demon heard the sound of earth shaking running from a distance in the forest. The sound was deafening and the ground they were standing on started to shake. Furthermore, from the sound of the footsteps, it didn't seem to be a beastie. Just as they had expected, when the footsteps got closer, in an instant, thousands of fiery red wolves had arrived in front of them and surrounded Lung Ruoxue and the demon. "Human! Let go of my son, or I'll teach you a lesson." The one who spoke was a female wolf. This female wolf stood at the front of the pack. Compared to the other giant wolves, she was much smaller, but her intimidating aura was above any other wolf. The other fire wolves also followed her lead. It was not difficult to see that she had a high status in this pack of wolves. "Your son is in our hands, yet you're still threatening us like this. Aren't you afraid that we'll hurt it?" Lung Ruoxue reminded her with a smile on her face. "Human, what do you want? Don't you hurt my son." When the female wolf heard Lung Ruoxue's words, she became anxious. "I didn't want to hurt it. You guys are too nervous." Lung Ruoxue laughed. "If you don't intend to hurt my son, then why did you catch it? Humans, I'm warning you, my son will never acknowledge a human as his master. So you can give up. Let go of my son, and he'll pretend this never happened. Otherwise, don't even think about walking out of the evil demon forest alive." The mother wolf used both soft and hard tactics. The nervousness that flashed through her eyes revealed her fear at the moment. "You're thinking too much. I caught it because it stole my food, not because I want it to recognize me as its master. So, as long as you give me an explanation, I'll let it go." Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. "Then what do you want?" The female wolf felt more at ease after hearing Lung Ruoxue's words. Chapter 1819, Shameful Behavior, 3. That's up to you. Lung Ruoxue said lightly. However, the female wolf was extremely unhappy when she heard this. "Look at it? Look at what?" It didn't know what this human wanted. Humans have always been greedy. If we can't satisfy their demands, what if they hurt our children? The female wolf was very nervous. A hint of anxiety flashed across her pitch-black eyes, but the gaze she used to look at Lung Ruoxue was unusually calm. "I'm willing to compensate on its behalf. You can name any conditions you want, as long as it's within my means." The mother wolf thought for a while and said, "You're really forthright. If that's the case, I won't make things difficult for you. As long as you give me a list of the beasts in the land of demons, I'll forget about your son stealing my food." Lung Ruoxue was very satisfied with this female wolf's attitude. This was more like a normal mother. As for the male wolf, it was completely out of line. "What do you want the list of beasts for? I won't give it to you." When the female wolf heard Lung Ruoxue's request, she looked at her with extreme vigilance. "Don't be nervous, I don't have any bad intentions. I just want to bond with them." Lung Ruoxue told him the truth. This was indeed her plan. "Bond? You're a human, why are you trying to bond with us orcs?" The female wolf scoffed at Lung Ruoxue's words and revealed a mocking smile. "I plan to set up my territory in the demonic land, so I naturally have to build a good relationship with the original residents here. In the future, we'll be neighbors." Lung Ruoxue explained her motive and shot a glance at the female wolf. "You want to set up your territory here? Ha! Human, you're too whimsical. This is impossible." The female wolf said firmly. Beasts hated humans, so how could they be willing to live in peace with humans? If this human woman really set up her territory in the land of demons, would the land of demons still have any peace? It was the first to not allow it. Nothing is impossible in this world. Everything depends on human effort. Lung Ruoxue said confidently. "Human, you've set up your territory in the land of demons, and we, the fire wolves, were the first to object. You can't even get past me. Do you think the beasts here will agree to you staying?" The mother wolf kindly reminded him. To be honest, she had a good impression of this human. After all, she had not really hurt her child. However, even so, she would not agree to this human setting up a territory under their eyes, because that would mean endless trouble. It wasn't easy for them to calm down, and they couldn't let this human ruin their peaceful days. What if I say that setting up my territory here is also beneficial to you? Lung Ruoxue threw out a huge bait. What good does it do for us? The mother wolf asked curiously. Although the other giant wolves didn't say anything, they were also curious. An alchemist. Lung Ruoxue said softly. Alchemist? This identity is indeed quite tempting. The female wolf pondered for a moment before telling the truth. Alchemists were highly respected in both the human domain and the beast clan. Those alchemists with good reputation and character were also treated with respect by the beasts. After all, no human or beast could live without pills. The fact that this woman was an alchemist made some of the beasts happy, but it was not absolute. It continued, even if you're an alchemist, it's impossible for you to convince all the beasts in the land of evil demons to agree to you setting up your territory here. If any race objects, then your days here won't be easy. After all, the beasts in the land of evil demons are one and share both honor and disgrace. I understand. If you're willing to help me introduce them to me, not only will I return your precious son to you in one piece, I will also give you some medicinal pills as a reward. How about it? Lung Ruoxue tried to entice her. She believed that the benefits she offered would definitely attract this female wolf. I can't make the decision myself. I need to go back and discuss it with the elders. The female wolf said calmly. In fact, she was very excited. After all, it was rare for an alchemist to be willing to give them pills. However, she didn't want this human woman to see through her. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to take the initiative. She was quite a scheming person. Sure, when will you give me an answer? Lung Ruoxue nodded and asked. Within 3 days, the mother wolf thought for a moment and said, All right, he said. Lung Ruoxue agreed and passed the little wolf to the mother wolf. The mother wolf held the little wolf in her arms and looked at Lung Ruoxue in surprise. She never thought that this human woman would return her child to her. Was she not afraid that she would never return? Thinking of this, it hugged the wolf cub tightly and asked curiously, If I don't keep my son as a hostage, aren't you afraid that I won't give you an answer? Don't doubt a man, and don't use a man you doubt. Since I've given you time, I naturally believe that you're a beastie who keeps your word. Moreover, if your son stays with me, I still have to feed him well. It's really too much of a loss. So, you'd better raise him yourself. Lung Ruoxue teased them jokingly. Even though it was a joke, it was partly true. The way the fire wolf father and son ate had really frightened her. It would probably cost a lot of money to raise these two gluttons, so she gave up on it after some thought. When the mother wolf heard Lung Ruoxue's disdain for her son, she did not get angry. Instead, she smiled and asked, If there's a result, how do I contact you? Are we still here to find you? No, there's a house not far from here. You can just send your subordinates there to find me. Lung Ruoxue said after some thought. All right. The mother wolf nodded and led the other wolves out of the place. Before they left, the little red wolf in the mother wolf's arms was still reluctant to part with Lung Ruoxue. It looked at Lung Ruoxue with resentment as if she had done something to let it down. Lung Ruoxue was speechless when she saw this. After the wolf pack left, the demon said with disappointment, I thought there would be a fierce battle. In the end, nothing happened. That little wolf is in our hands, so that female wolf wouldn't dare to attack us. Moreover, we didn't hurt her son at all, so she has no reason to take the initiative to attack us. Lung Ruoxue explained with a smile. Shui, you've returned that gluttonous little wolf to it. Do you think it'll come after us to settle the score and find trouble with us? The demon said with some anticipation. His hands were a little itchy. I want tea. It wouldn't risk the lives of the wolf clan for a human it doesn't know. Besides, we didn't do anything, so it doesn't have that much hatred for us. Besides, didn't I tell it that I'm an alchemist? It knows my identity and is very happy. Lung Ruoxue said. When she had revealed her identity, the surprise in the female wolf's eyes had not escaped her eyes. Chapter 1820, Shameful Behavior, 4. If that's the case, then I won't be able to fight? The demon said gloomily. I want tea. Not all beasts will welcome our existence. Lung Ruoxue said with a smile. Since the evildoer wanted to fight, they would leave the other beasts who did not welcome them to the evildoer. She was a pacifist. She would either not fight or not give her opponent a chance to turn the tables. That makes sense. I only hope that those beastie who don't welcome us can take a beating. Otherwise, you'll be disappointed. The demon laughed evilly. I hope they won't let you down. Lung Ruoxue teased. Following that, the two of them packed up their things and entered the bracelet to rest. They returned to the house the next morning. After seeing them, Master Ning's face darkened as he circled Lung Ruoxue a few times. However, he did not say a word, which made Lung Ruoxue confused. Godfather, what's the matter? Lung Ruoxue's heart was trembling. What was wrong with Godfather? How had she offended him? Little girl. The Ning family's kid is jealous. Yesterday, you two went to have some alone time, but left us here, so he's angry. Uncle Long explained with a smile. When the master of the Ning family heard his words, he snorted arrogantly and walked away. Lung Ruoxue was speechless as she watched her godfather's back view. It was clearly her godfather who said he was tired and wanted to rest. How could they be the ones who abandoned him? Little girl, ignore him. Come, tell Uncle Long, what did you do yesterday? Uncle Long asked curiously. These two little guys didn't come back last night. Lung Ruoxue nodded. Then, she told Uncle Long about their encounter with the Fire Wolf clan in the forest. After listening, Uncle Long pondered for a moment before he slapped his thigh and said, Girl, you're so lucky. The Fire Wolves are one of the major races in the Demon Lands, and they have a very high status there. If they agree to let you set up your territory here, the smaller beast clans that are attached to them will naturally agree as well. At that time, your resistance will be much smaller. I thought so too, but that female fire wolf didn't agree immediately. I even asked it to help introduce me to the other beast clans. It said it would go back and discuss with the elders, but from its expression at that time, it was very satisfied with my identity as an alchemist. Lung Ruoxue analyzed. Don't worry. They'll definitely agree. Having an alchemist as their neighbor is a blessing to any beast. Only a fool would refuse. Uncle Long said with certainty. As a beastie, he naturally understood the importance of being an alchemist. No beastie could reject the friendship of an alchemist. However, the prerequisite was that the alchemist must be worthy of beastie's friendship. And this little girl, Lung Ruoxue, definitely had the ability to do so. But girl, the Ning family's boy's condition is that you have to subdue a beast clan before he will agree to you setting up your territory here. So, it's not enough to just get those beasts to agree to you setting up your territory here, you also have to find a way to subdue them. Uncle Long reminded him. I understand. Befriending them is just the first step. I'm going to use Cannonball to slowly capture them and make them take the initiative to recognize me as their master. Lung Ruoxue's smile was like a sly little fox. Little girl, you're right to think this way. After this period of time together, I even want to recognize you as my master, let alone them. In my opinion, the beasts here will be yours sooner or later. Uncle Long said half-jokingly. Uncle Long, I'm treating you as my elder. Uncle Long's words caused Lung Ruoxue's heart to palpitate as she hurriedly replied. I know, but for me to have such a thought, doesn't it mean that you are worthy of the beastie's recognition? I've lived for so long, and I've seen too many people. There are all kinds of humans, and none of their qualities can escape my fiery eyes. As for you, I can't find any problems with you. Uncle Long said emotionally. Uncle Long, no one is perfect. Lung Ruoxue said, feeling a little embarrassed. Uncle Long's words made her face blush. Yes, you love money a little, but you did it in a proper way. Uncle Long said with a smile. He was in a good mood. Hearing this, Lung Ruoxue's forehead was filled with black lines. That was the truth. Who asked her to feed so many people and beasts? The day passed by quickly under Lung Ruoxue and Uncle Long's teasing. The next day, the Fire Wolf clan's representative came looking for him. The representative sent by the Fire Wolf clan this time was a young fire wolf with a handsome appearance and a strong body. The long red fur on its body was even more dazzling than flames. Lung Ruoxue's eyes were filled with envy. She had no choice. Who asked her to be unable to reject furry little animals? And this fire wolf looked so powerful. Compared to the male fire wolf yesterday, one was in the sky and the other was on the ground. There was no comparison at all. Looking at this young and strong male fire wolf, Lung Ruoxue could not help but doubt the taste of the female wolf from yesterday. However, it was possible that she liked such a heavy taste. This was purely a matter of personal preference. Dear Lady Alchemist, Imhuoku. The female wolf you saw the day before yesterday is my sister, Huoqiong. Huoku bowed to Lung Ruoxue very politely. Hello, no need to be so polite. You can just call me Lung Ruoxue. Lung Ruoxue said hurriedly. It was rare to see such a polite beastie, and she had a very good impression of Huoku. At least this fellow was very normal. Miss Lung, since you're so forthright, then I'll be direct. Huoku said directly. Yes. Lung Ruoxue nodded. She really liked Huoku's straightforward personality. Young Miss Lung, I heard that you are an alchemist. May I take the liberty to ask your level? After hesitating for a while, Huoku asked with an apologetic look. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.